And that's how I'm a driver. So they all test me when I'm on the road. But I'm gon' roll like a dice on the floor. My advice to you, don't try to smoke. Watch me go flip like a bankroll. I'ma go flip like a bankroll. Moving so fast cause I ain't slow. Picking them off like a Django. I'm telling you, I'm really past insane mode. And I gotta working on my brain though. Don't tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. No, tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm litty, they numbers do not match the standards. So I'm from a gritty on China's. T'Challa, I'm really a panther. I don't want your pity, I'm ready, let's get it. I'm about to make this shit an anthem. Let me for the body like, let's go. You lanes really got me upset though. T-Rex such a nigga, which let yo. I want all the smoke like petrol. Gas to the max on deck, whoa. Bad shit get trash on set, bro. Psycho, they call me your idol. Won't want you do that slow, I'ma head to the bio. Tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. No, tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Do not waste your time lingering, pondering, save your space and wine. You are not a tree, just move if you don't like where you are, where you are, where you are. Every time I think about all the things I live without, motivates me, it's a do or die. Fear, no fear, it's worth a try.
I lost people over pen, I don't regret it. And every time I think about it, all the time my heart forgives. I have given everything, but it's not enough. Fear, no fear, my heart can't stop. 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 Gives you a meaning to erase your every morning. Just open up your eyes and you'll see that there's a meaning to the love-hate relationship. To the haters that wants that great, I can't hide from my fears no more. I can't hide from my fears no more. I lost people over petty shit. Every time I think about it, all the time my heart forgives. Giving everything, but it's not enough.
Kiss your words away, do not waste your time lingering, pondering, save your space and wine. You are not a tree, just move if you don't like where you are, where you are, where you are.
most people overpaid. I don't regret it, and every time I think about it, all the time my heart forgives. I have given everything, but it's not enough. Fear, no fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop.
You were like a ransom note. If I give in, will you come home? I put everything I had into getting you back. I was only 17, and you were the air I breathed. I walked across a burning bridge for you, for you. Those roads we walked, I'll know forever. Those times we talked, I still remember. Is it not enough that I played with my heart once, twice? If I'm blind to who you are, which of us was behind bars?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. We've got a brand new opener. We've got a brand new desk. We're stood up. We're excited. We're ready to put the keys in the ignition and start this journey to the grand finals at Insomnia 66. I'm Big Hungry Phil. With me to start off the new season is Yokai. Yokai, welcome back. How's it going?
It's good to be back. It's very good to be back. Obviously, we like a bit of a break, but when you start to, it extends out, you get closer and closer. You just want to be back on the desk, back on the mic, and back alongside Phil here.
It's very kind of you to say. So, 2 matches coming up for you today. We're going to be starting off with Centurions versus Rams, which should be, on paper at least, a relatively close game, if not what you would call a clean game. These are 2 sort of middle-of-the-table teams.
Yeah, definitely. Centurions sitting around 3k, Rams about 2.4. Something to note is, though, that the Centurions do have a few high-level players. I believe one 3.8 player on that team, so maybe a little bit of experience coming through there, a little bit of, carrying, if you will, if you want to call it that. But
well, it's a thing that we saw for Rams in the last season, where Yamba, sadly, who won't be returning for the Rams this season, but Yamba in the previous season, did he ever make top 500? Certainly a very high-ranking player.
I think he did.
I think he was in the top 500. Was just able to style on everybody on the lower-ranked team, and his team had enough capacity there just to enable him to do that. So we might see a little bit of that coming out from LAC, or LAC, today for Centurions, but still should hopefully be a bit of a slugger, bit of a long, drawn-out one.
Yeah. I think this is one of the Rams' best opportunities to take a match this year as well. Of course, they have a very, or the season, should I say, they have a very tough group. I believe only the Centurions and the Enigmas being what I would say winnable games for them. Of course, they're going against some of our much higher ranked teams outside of those two, but definitely winnable today. Definitely, if they really pull out all their stops and just really put it all out there, they definitely have a chance of winning this. Will it be tough? Yes, I do think so.
Well, to add a little bit of context as to how difficult this is going to be for some of these teams, we're just going to throw it over to our tables and have a look what we've got coming up for you. And a highlight here, I'd like to draw your attention at the top of the table at the minute, is the Ballymena Bears, a new arena competing in this season of Arena Clash. But Yokai, what do we make of this group? Who have we got to look out for?
I think the biggest thing to look out for here is the Saints. They've really put together a very strong roster this season, bringing back a few players from previous seasons, but also some new names that really ramp up not only their average SR, but also their general experience. And also the Smugglers have a very strong roster heading into this season, so those two teams in particular are definitely ones to look out for.
It's strange really for the Smugglers. They've traditionally not been a particularly strong team, and suddenly, here we are looking at them to be one of the two to come out of this group.
It is very strange to be seeing them, at the top. Of course, last season we wouldn't have even really thought about them in that group, but of course, this season looking very good.
And moving on to group number 2, slightly muted colours in this group, but certainly not muted teams on the back of this one. What are we expecting out of this matchup?
Well, we do see two of our... in general, a lot of these teams are sitting around the middle of the pack, but looking at like the previous seasons, we can see...
Yeah, sorry, our notes slightly falling over on us there. Unfortunately to say, none of these teams particularly stood out to us when looking over the rosters. Not many stand-up players. Expect even the two teams that come out of this group, we think might struggle as we come into the playoffs. And worth noting, Humber Hunters this year have the lowest ranked player in the competition, sitting around 1.2k.
Bit of a harsh thing, but that is also going to be, I guess, a little bit of a disadvantage. They're going to have that. I don't really want to call it baggage, but they are going to have that to really work around.
And moving on to a slightly more colourful group this time, group number 3. All right, Yoke, break this one down for us.
The Pirates are looking very strong this season. That's what I want to start this off with. Their roster is looking incredible and bringing back a few familiar faces, I would like to say.
That's right. They thought they were out of it. He's climbed his way back in. Padjack will be joining the Pirates again this year alongside I Don't Want to Be You, or as I'd like to say, Idwabu. I spent the first few appearances for I Don't Want to Be You calling me Idwabu. I'll try and make that adaptation this time around, but right, Pirates are looking to come out of this group very strong.
And also the Lionhearts is something I would like to highlight as well, because they also have a pretty good roster on paper. It's the same as they've been running for the last 3 or 4 seasons now, 2 or 3 seasons I think it's probably better to say. But they haven't necessarily won anything, but they've been looking solid, and that's something very important with this group in particular.
Very consistent quarter-final, semi-final contestants. Is this going to be their year? I don't know. There is some very good competition, and just on a numbers basis, Lionhearts could, but they've got a lot of work ahead of them if they want to make that work out.
Indeed, and going back to the Pirates, they are the second highest ranked team across all of our teams, and that's only behind the Spartans, so it's clear where they're sitting on the tables.
Now, this is going to be a very difficult group for me to particularly call. Firstly, let's highlight again another new arena in the tournament. We've got Spectres competing for the very first time, but my heart's a little bit torn here because we've got the Spartans, historically my favourite team, coming up against Vikings, who are my home team, and Vikings are looking absolutely rejuvenated this time.
They are looking incredible with their roster this season. Massive upgrades across the board, bringing back a few of their stronger players.
They've still got Kez.
Yeah,
they've still got Kez.
They have the feeder, but
ready to feed.
But in general, massive upgrades across the board. The Spartans, I think, have actually taken a hit this season. Chico going over to, I guess, an arena close to Hull with the Enigmas, and that's left this flex DPS spot wide open. They've bringing in Dave Hardcore is going to definitely make it interesting. We don't know much about him, and of course, looking at the Steelers as well, who they actually played in the finals, looking like 2 months ago at this point.
It's very it's unfortunate for the Steelers because in any other group they would have been a good candidate to move up through that, but in the group they're in, coming up against Spartans and Vikings, and with changes to the roster, missing Flabberjack, for example, who was the IGL for that team, it's going to be a lot tougher for them. Still possible, they have some good potential, some very high notes, but lots of competition in this group.
In fact, both of their support players not coming back for this season, which is a huge hit for them. And I guess not to go without mentioning the Guardians as well, my personal hometown team. So a little bit of bias there. But
it's true. We're also looking at the Guardians as a potential to come out of this group. This is going to be a very highly contested group. To be honest, it's unfortunate for Spectres in their first season in the game. They're coming in.
That's a tough group.
It's a really tough group. They're coming in with a 2.5k average. They do have a 4k player coming into their team. But we know from having seen the Rams last season, there is only so much a carry DPS can do for you.
And I think the group 4 here is going to be the group of death. You see, like we've mentioned, 3 very strong candidates for second place. The Spartans, I think it's fair to have them a shoe-in for this group, although, you never know. There could be a massive upset throughout the season, but the Spectres are going to have to climb some massive hills if they want to even take a game this season.
It is just a really rough group for an arena's first time in the tournament. But hopefully they will at least enjoy the competition and learn something from this. And who knows? Overwatch can be absolute chaos. Maybe Spectres will find a way to thrive in that chaos.
Maybe. Of course, Overwatch is a very, especially looking at like control maps, we see a lot of chaos on these maps. We've always called them the hectic ones, the chaos.
Those are the coin flip maps. Just because you've won that doesn't mean that it means that you are better than the other team. It means you got a little bit luckier on the control map, frankly.
It feels like we've went back and forth saying that that's the biggest chance and also the lowest chance of an upset in the last season or so.
Yeah, but if you look at what's happened in the Overwatch League in the preceding week, so congratulations everybody, we've made it through the off season. We're back with professional Overwatch on your viewing channels. Even the control maps there amongst the very highest levels of teams, never a guarantee of success.
Indeed, never a guarantee of success there. But even looking at these two teams today, lower down in the rankings, not really too sure where they're going to stand across the entire board, but I do think that, they can really put on a showing. They can really, at the very least make the show entertaining. We've said it's going to be a scruffy one. That often leads to some of the most entertaining matches.
It genuinely does. We should be moving over to look at exactly who we've got playing for these two teams coming up right now in front of you. So Centurions coming up against Rams, and as much as I hate to say it, a lot of players here that are new to me or certainly have not made an impression on me from previous seasons.
But one thing to mention is something we've actually already mentioned, Lack on the Centurions is that very, very standout player on that team, ranking around High Masters, 3.8 K elo there. But the rest of the team sitting around a 3K average, averaging out there with Lack included. Rams, like we've mentioned again, 2.4K, and not really too many standout players aside from Lack in this matchup.
It's unfortunate for Rams they weren't able to convince Yamba to come back for another season, but I think there's only so much fun you can have as a Grandmasters top 500 player trying to carry your team around you. But we should be, at the very least, expecting a competent match from both of these teams, if not the very highest heights. And for those of you that may be tuning in for the first time and are unaware of how this works, this is the group stage, and the top two teams from each of the groups will move forward into the playoffs, and we're considering Centurions and Rams maybe not the candidates here to move out into the playoffs.
I mean, the winner of this game could well put themselves in the seat where if an upset does happen, if there is a situation where they can take maybe an unexpected series, then we start looking at the winner of this series going through the groups. But if all goes as expected, these are not going to be the teams that we see going through. Who knows, though? Who knows? Overwatch, we've just said, very chaotic. Anything can happen.
It's really unfortunate that we might not see that much of them, but it's a great opportunity for all of our players to have this broadcast experience, to get their gameplay actually commentated at a reasonable level between the two of us.
Yeah,
we're not terrible. We're not terrible. Hopefully we'll be going into game very shortly, but we are in kind of an interesting place in Overwatch in the meta right now. Seems to me that whilst we have an emergent meta, there are variations you can play in that, and maybe that sort of little bit of waiting room mind games when you're trying to decide what you're going to run dictates what you think your opponent is going to run and whether or not you can make that counter pick. What are we expecting is what I'm asking.
Well, if you'd asked me that question, say, a week ago, before the Overwatch League opening weekend happened, we'd probably be looking at the likes of Orisa Reinhardt Diva, Reaper, Moira,
Sim.
Brawl, heavy composition, Sim. Maybe not, I would say. I think that was a product of Exe
Maybe
in the Overwatch League. But now that the Overwatch League has happened, a lot of the meta has shifted more towards this McCree style, this Ana playstyle, where you're not brawling anymore. You're actually trying to play that poke war. You're engaging, then disengaging, getting resources out. And rather than trying to win the fight outright, you're simply trying to choke them out with your abilities, wear them down, get those health pools down. And once you have an advantage with your abilities, that's when you're starting to try and actually win out the fight. If you try and go in and just all in on one engagement, it's not going to go well for you.
So I guess a lot of this is down to whether or not the players in your team understand that sort of footsie battle of when to come in, when to come out again, when you've got to wait for cooldowns to come back in. Are we looking at a meta where that's the deciding factor, or is individual skill still a large part of this?
I'd say definitely around the hit scan role, individual skill is massive. Also, just making sure in general you're not, pushing too deep, overextending. Specifically on that Mei role. That Mei role is going to be huge throughout the series, but overall, I'd say because of the level of mechanical skill and the amount of mechanical skill needed for these heroes, it is still very important that you have that individual skill as well as teamwork.
Well, let's hope we're seeing a bit of both from these teams. We're going to be moving over into our first map of the evening, and it is, of course, the control map, starting on Busan. And surprisingly, Lack not on a DPS role here, going to be playing main tank.
Main tank-ish,
Off tankish, main tankish.
They're running the Reinhardt Winston rather than that D.Va. Maybe looking to control that high ground with a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more certainty.
That's aggressive positioning from Todd Lee. Pushes right the way up in, but Rams with the rotation straight onto point now. Centurions a little bit slower on that. Fire Strike hitting Todd Lee right in the face. Wants to swing in, but it has to back away because, of course, the Zami bubble is there to mitigate some of that damage. Oh! I didn't even catch the username. Uno, Uwu. All these people with the Uwus in the name trying to set me out every season. Wow, Nathalion already has the Shatter. Won't need it. Gotta use it anyway. It comes down, it puts one on the ground, but the May Wall is there to separate them out from the incoming damage. But that is a decisive win there from Rams.
And all they really did there was just play aggressive. They were the engagement. They weren't waiting for the Centurions to make their wall. They walled first. They got the engagement. They got their positioning. And even though the Reinhardt of the Centurions got in that position first, the rotation to point ended up being key.
They come out of that with far fewer ultimates than the Rams. The
Oh,
Centurions
that's a nice
already
pick.
on the down. That's a nice early pick with the swap over onto the Hanzo. Anxiety is down. Big wall to separate out the Reinhardt. Gonna see nothing coming out of that high noon. Oh, 2 kills already in the kill feed for the Centurions. The main tank taking down King. Very low. Wants to back away and take a little bit of space. Okay, I've been informed that it's Uno, not Uno, Uwo, etc. So Uno, it is going forwards. On board and they're running with a charge back to the point. Rams still in control for now, but Lack, having swapped over onto the Zarya, might be in a bit more of a position to carry. And they start to rack up kills in their favor. They flip the point, and now it's time to try and punish on the way out.
But look at what the late swap on the Zarya has done for their ult charge. Only halfway to that grab, whereas Volio is actually approaching that with just a few well-placed right clicks. Anxiety is going to have the beat already as well. Ruby Fox nowhere near, maybe swapping a little bit later. Although Outlaw may be wanting to stuff one of these chokes with this Blizzard here, and there's a Dragon Strike not so far away either.
This is going to come down to
what a
when
wall.
and where the walls come up and the Blizzard comes out. You're not even going to need the Blizzard on the back of that. That was such a well-placed wall and a big charge into the back. Swinging away with a hammer and a big Fire Strike. Manages to pull one out at the far end and the team kill bell.
That was a beautiful wall right at the choke, only cutting the team directly in half. 3 versus 6, you're not winning that. There was a boop there from Anxiety, but not enough to turn the fight around. And Ruby Fox still not doing that much healing, it seems like, though, because only 40% to a beat.
So we have actually seen Ruby Fox use a beat already. It was just used very early, and Anxiety hasn't had call to use it yet. Folio now has the Graviton Surge ready to go, and between oh no! Kozel caught them out in the rotation. Folio down, Blizzard thrown in from Manchow, but they're already a player down. They've managed to equalize it. Outlaw with the right click gets King, but the Shatter is there, and it puts 2 on the ground. They get the follow through. Now we're just going to see Lack trying to get that beam down, holding on to the Graviton Surge as we reach 73% of the point capped.
And now they have Grav Dragon as well. Neko is so close to that Coalescence. Oh, he's going to go down late as well. So this Grav Dragon, there's nothing to negate it on the side of the Rams right now. They can maybe try and counter Grav. They can maybe try and hit a Shatter and prevent the follow-up. But this is going to be so hard for the Rams to approach because of that massive crowd control ultimate.
Well, you can see in the change of positioning that Centurions want to take this aggressively. They want to stop Rams getting to the point for as long as possible. If they can hold this off for another 5 seconds, that's going to be the Grav Dragon coming in over the top. Feels like a long time since I've seen that. And that's 2 kills for Unu. A pretty dominant showing for Centurions once they got control of the point.
Felt so good to see Ryan Zarya again. Felt so good to see Ryan Zarya. And even that Grav Dragon, it was hated for so long, but even just it's bringing back a little bit of nostalgia.
You know, they shrunk the Grav, they made the Dragon, well, they didn't do anything to the Dragon, they have dropped some of Hanzo's numbers, so you get it a little less often, but a good Hanzo can usually be counted to have it on cooldown, so it's not the dominant combo that it used to be.
If you have it online, it is a pretty well guaranteed team wipe, but regardless, Lack so patient on that Zarya. I was a bit confused about the Winston pick at first, but once he swapped over, seemed very comfortable as well. And Todd, on that Reinhardt, we didn't really give him any praise, building that Shatter so quickly and also not throwing it away either. First fight Shatter, not exactly wasting it, just trying to get that clean up, which is so important.
The Zarya is kind of more what I expected from Lack. Oh, hello, King on the fire here with the Mercy Pocket. Centurions don't really have any counter unless Uno can start to land some of these hits.
But the big thing is that they don't have that frontline pressure to match this Pharah right now. They have the Hanzo, but that's nowhere near as bad as a Pharah flying over you.
It's a very tricky thing to take out. Lack giving a bit of attention to the Pharah, but not really playing at an effective range for it for now. Rams playing kind of passively here at the minute. I think waiting for King to get that barrage online or to just get a pick and allow them to aggress in. But it's not been particularly quick, and King's height control has not been great. Well, there's the pick we were looking for. Uno goes down to King, the Concussive Blast comes in. Now they can afford to play from the high ground and look to chase down some of these kills. We almost saw the kill come out just from the rockets. Kozel goes down with a bit of help from Volio, and this has been a great pushback from the Rams.
And the Rams going back to what seemed to work for them at the start of last season with Yamba on the Pharah there. King bringing out that Pharah, and even though they do end up giving up about 20, 30% there, they are going to finally have the barrage online, and they didn't have to use any ultimates at all, actually.
And Uno was swapped over to the Soldier, presumably to counter the Pharah, but Soldier has never been a particularly effective counter for Pharah.
The Pharah itself, I would say yes, but the Pharah Mercy is where it really starts to get bad because you can heal up the damage almost faster than Soldier can put it down. The big thing as well for the Centurions here, they didn't build any ultimates aside from that that Amplification Matrix there, and maybe close to Todd's Shadow, but that was very good from the Rams to disengage.
It was great. In comes the barrage. Didn't even catch where that was going. It seems to have found the Immortality Field, but that's a big old Shadow coming out from Narthalion. They've managed to get the res over onto the Pharah as well. King back up and starting to cause havoc in the backlines. Lackey is going to find Nathalion, but is that going to be enough for them to flip this around? The shadows that came out from Todd didn't put too much on the ground, and in the meantime, Lackey's clearing up with the high charge. Exactly what I expected from this sort of player, being in that DPS-esque role, looking for that melee kill, getting it on the back end, and will be coming out of that with a lot of charge and a Graviton Surge.
And that grab is really what you want to be seeing there. You would have liked to maybe get a little bit more out of the ultimates you did use, but they still win the fight. They didn't have to use too much, maybe a wasted shadow there, but you have the Graviton, you're going to be having the Blizzard, and even though Volio has his Grav, the Rams don't have a defensive, Ruby Fox has the beat.
Oh, well, King gets caught out on the way in. Outlaw with an icicle from downtown. They will, of course, be able to get the res, but it means that Centurions can be a little bit more aggressive. They can just charge in with the Blizzard. They've managed to mostly back out of it. Oh, second Blizzard out from Manchild, but they've already lost two. It was too little too late on the opening of the freezer door, and Centurions keep control of it. Volio being poked right the way back out, and he's coming up against Lack, who has a lot more charge on their side, with a Reinhardt on the side, just to make that little bit easier. They do finally get him with a boot kill from Ruby Fox.
And Volio used the Grav in that fight as well. Ooh. So now they have nothing. The Rams have literally nothing to work with here. They may get the Shadow online. They're probably going to get the Coalescence soon. But the Centurions are sitting on a 4-pack of ultimates right now, and they're pretty high impact ultimates at that.
King with a swap over onto the Reaper, and I like this. It's a change in pathing coming around the side, avoiding the direct confrontation, but they've got to be quick here. It's at 92% for Centurions. Oh, and King gets caught out by the wall. Focus down to 100 health. They're going to see them come in. We're going to get the counter charge in onto Nathalion. Taken out. Ruby Fox getting kill credit. Graviton out from Lack. Nothing caught in it. May able to ice block her way out of that, but she's not got a lot of support left on the point. Centurions with the numbers advantage. It's the solo shatter onto Volio, and this is all done except the crying.
It just feels like every time we get to a final fight scenario, Lack has the Grav online, so even if they wanted to get to that point, he could have very easily held them at the choke. It felt like he was almost playing with his food a bit there. He's letting them get to the point. And just, in general, even the use. He could have well comboed it with the Mail, but he trusted that his May was going to get that ultimate on the board, get a lot of value out of it, and he did just that. That trust for his team, even though there is quite an elo difference between him and the rest of his team, is so important for them.
I was initially surprised when I saw Lack coming out on a tank role, because I thought one of the ways to carry we saw from Yamba again on the Rams last season is you put your highest ranked player on the DPS and they just clown on people. So coming out on the Winston initially seemed like a weird choice, and it looks a lot more natural on the Zarya, who back when Goats was the force majeure of the day, having the Zarya as one of your big sources of damage was kind of how you ran part of that comp. So this seems a lot more synergistic to me.
Very like Roadhog in the sense that they are basically I guess an honorary DPS.
Chunky DPS.
Yeah, they have a bit of extra health. Of course, D.Va now becoming that Chunky Tracer, as we've been calling it recently. But yeah, Zarya very, very, very impactful with that damage. And also with our ultimate, you know, we mentioned it many times, Graviton Surge being arguably the strongest ultimate in the game. Maybe Transcendence up there as well, but, you know, it's very impactful, and those bubbles are no slouch either. They do a lot of work for keeping your Reinhardt alive.
Do you know, I had a friend try and argue for a long time that the most impactful ultimate in the game was the D.Va self-destruct, which, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up as a thing that really gave me the thonk emoji face.
Raw damage, yes, but
Yeah,
you
it's
need
so
to,
situational.
You need something with it.
Yeah.
You can't just throw it in there and hope for the... Maybe sometimes.
Maybe sometimes. If you are exclusively playing for how many kills can I get from an ultimate occasionally, then maybe that's the one. But
Once in a blue moon.
once in a blue moon, you just want that on your highlight reel with the D.Va K, D.Va 6K.
It's what we always see when we see the off tanks. It's either massive grabs, big whole hogs, or a 6-man self-destruct.
Yeah, it's strange to me really that we're in the situation with Overwatch where some of the most impactful ultimates that we have in the game are these off-tank ultimates, the self-destruct, the Graviton Surge in particular we just mentioned. How are we classifying Wrecking Ball these days? Main tank, off-tank? Flex?
It's hard to say. Tends to be more of an off tank, I'd say.
Okay, so again, the minefield in terms of space control and denial.
Well, if we think back to how he was played, maybe last patch or the patch before, we've seen a lot of Wrecking Ball Orisa, and when they were running dive compositions, they were either running Wrecking Ball D.Va or Wrecking Ball Monkey, and I think. Maybe with the D.Va there, obviously the D.Va's going to be the off-tank, but with the Monkey, the Wrecking Ball's a lot more there to take attention, to prevent the Monkey from getting burned down straight away. So it's a bit interesting. He can play a bit of both. He's a bit of a mercenary in a sense, because he can play either role depending on what style of Wrecking Ball you actually decide to play.
I think mostly the Wrecking Ball that we come up against is the one that picks after we've already picked an off-tank, and we have no sort of shield presence or space making, but sometimes you've got to live with those things on the ladder. But that does put us at a 1-0 for now, so that's going to be early advantage going over to Centurions, and we did predict that going in with that additional high-rank player on their team. So we're going to be coming into our next map, which I believe, I'm just waiting for word from the producer as to what that's actually going to be. Hanamura. So assault maps, they can go on for a while. Again, with a peak in your SR on your roster, maybe slightly easier to attack, slightly easier to defend if you've got that point you can build your strategy around.
Defend, maybe. I'd say attack, it's a lot more down to team play, because you need to get that clean wipe. You need that, you need that 6k basically. You need to get people off the point for long enough to capture it. And if you're all over the place, you can do as much as you want individually, but you need that focus, that target focus, and that synergy to actually clear the point and get it up. In comparison to maybe defense, where yes, if you're getting pick after pick after pick, it's going to make it a lot easier to win out the defensive fight. So defense, yes. Offense, maybe not so much.
And of course, we've made a little bit of a mistake here of saying, oh, well, Centurions, they came in hot on that last one, they're going to be fine here. But we prefaced this entire series by saying it's control map. Maybe it doesn't even matter. It's like a coin toss to see who's going to get to match point first. So we could still see the big upset here and go to 1-1 after this.
I mean, the Rams definitely had a good showing.
Indeed.
I think out of the two teams, they actually had the better teamwork, per se. They were all kind of going the same direction, making the same rotations. The Centurions, I think, had the better mechanical skill and had better peaks throughout the match, but I think the Rams kept a consistent level throughout the series, throughout the map.
Well, we are going to see Manchild coming out here on the Symmetra. Somebody who watched Z over the weekend wants to come in with that TP straight to point. Can be difficult to set up. We saw Manchild actually take a lot of damage on the approach there. And of course the shield for Narthalion now broken. They don't have the shield to put the TP down behind. They're going to have to wait that out. And you can actually see them getting that online. We did see the TP come through. The Maywall wasn't quite enough to get it, but Lack comes in with a Fire Strike and takes Anxiety out of the fight. Close to the distance, that's one down already. Good lord, 75%, 77%, and the kill going to Todd Leave there. This has been a disastrous approach, because all they've done is feed Lack ult charge.
And on the Reinhardt now, you were playing Lazaria last series, seems like, okay, I want my turn at Reinhardt. Very, very satisfying, very fun hero. Hits all 6 of the Rams as they come out of that teleporter there, and gets up to 70% before he even starts swinging. Gonna have the Shadow online for this fight, and they're not so far from a Deadeye either, and you've got to expect that Amplification Matrix to come online soon as well. They did build up quite the way to Neko's Coalescence, but in this meta, I think that Amplification Matrix is so much more important.
And of course it charges about as quickly these days. A lot of additional value available for them. Well, Maywall traded for Maywall. We're going to see King playing the May in this round for the Rams. And so far, just spamming shields, waiting for the approach. It's a big halt. No follow-up damage into the Rams on the back of that. But if you're the Rams here, you can be pretty patient. Oh, Kozel finds Manchild. High Noon comes out, not able to find anything with it. Lack still holding on to this Earth Shadow. Hasn't had time to use it yet. The May Wall. Seems weird, May Walls. They're trying to go at these rotations. Instead, they trap themselves, Tetris style, in between their own May Wall and the Rams' May Wall, and they get the advantage in the fight for the Centurions.
And they're not having to use any ultimates at all. They're just winning these fights back to back.
Oh, there's the Shatter. Look, you shouldn't have said it because the second you said that, out came the Shatter, and one kill from the grenade on the back end of that, and Lack looking to push and get a bit more damage in. Outlaw closing in, now has the Blizzard ready to go. 1-0 on a one-team fight, pretty good value for the Centurions.
And even though those fights weren't outright won, they were just pick after pick after pick. That's what you want on the defense, because it's stopping the Rams from committing, but it's also burned nearly 2 minutes off the clock from that second fight.
And how do you find value from this, though? That's how you find value from the Earth Shatter, but it didn't get the Lucio, who was able to sound barrier the Centurions whilst they were on the ground. They've managed to equalize this. King is on a bit of a taste, managed to get 2, but Lack is still up and swinging, gets Neko. Now going toe-to-toe with the Doomfist on the point, who was waiting for the cooldowns to come down. The hammer comes down, puts Nathalion on the ground, but Rams have managed to eke this out.
That was completely the spawn advantage there from the Rams. They get a few picks, but if you're trading on the defense, you know you're going to end up losing out that fight unless you can get a clean reset. Centurions using a lot of ultimates late as well, using that Blizzard and that Earth Shadow. I don't think they used the Blizzard. I think they may have swapped to get back to point, but the Earth Shadow they definitely did use. And Lack actually going to go over to the Diva now, so wants to control that high ground a bit more. And maybe even negate Volio's grab.
Well, that would be quite the big eat if they can manage it, but Centurions really only have that one ultimate to go with. And we are closing in on the fabled Space Jam combo with the Graviton Surge and the Meteor Strike if they can get this online. It's a big wall, but it hasn't split them up. Luckily, they can just rotate out of that. And of course, having lost the DPS, you are going to want to back out and not feed over too much ult charge.
Yeah, you can see them backing off right now, disengaging. Volio trying to keep a bit of charge up at that personal level, but he is want to get out. Gonna want to get out there. There we go. Manchild is coming up on that Dragon Strike as well, though, so maybe if you combo all 3 of these, you can get through anything they throw down. But
if you've got to pick one, do you pick Grab Dragon or do you pick Space Jam?
Grab Dragon, I'd say. It's a lot more consistent damage, and then you can use Space Jam and just play more aggressively with Doomfist. Oh,
nice wall. Splits them 3 for 3. They are able to secure a rotation around it. Uno now swapping over onto the Hanzo. Meteor Strike comes down. Doesn't do much. The grab gets eaten. The Dragon comes out. But it is Rams with the advantage for now. But Lack able to get King. Anxiety down. Uno closing in on a Dragon of their own. Able to stay up on the relative high ground and pile in damage. Put in the shield pressure. The freeze is going to come out. Lack just about able to trace down the Moria with the turnaround on the primary fire will find them. But Rams did get a tick out of that.
They did get a tick, but they used so many of their ultimates there. They used 3, and they haven't really built up to that sound barrier yet either. They are going to have the Shadow, they're going to have the Coalescence, but that's not going to be too great for breaking that high ground. They have to start to play for that high ground, because otherwise, Uno can just sit up there, just fire arrows down into the point, and he has the Dragon Strike online as well, and that's not all the Centurions have to work with either.
No, but it's 2020, and King has locked the legs, which raises some questions, frankly. Of course, one of the traditional ways to take this point is to get the nano-boosted soldier on the high ground, but they don't have the Ana, and now they don't have the soldier.
Very symbolic of what the Centurions think of that soldier pick there. You can send that back to spawn there, but Lack is just going to be looking to place his bomb where the Rams can't escape it. Maybe even a wall behind them so they can't get out of the way of it, but this could really stuff it all, and with a minute and a half left, you want to start, you know, getting these eco pushes on the table.
I like the idea that Centurions went, soldier, in this meta, no, 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 sir. Wall him out, knock him down. They are going to have the Coalescence, as you mentioned. It's a great initiation tool. It buys a lot of space, but they're coming. Oh, wow, what a pin from nowhere. Immortality Field is there. The Shatter online as well. Everything thrown at Lack in that fight, but he's still up, and it's going to be Outlaw and Kozel taking control of the fight. King takes themselves out, I assume, with the rocket, and Centurions, they had to pop 2 there to win that fight, and with just over a minute left to go on the clock, they still hold on to 3 hugely impactful ultimates.
And that says a lot about the Rams ult economy right now. The Centurions could use 2 of their ultimates, and the Rams are still behind in ult economy. Not ahead, behind. Ruby's going to have the nano boost as well. You've got to think that's going on to Todd, especially if they go high ground here. And Lack is finally going to have pretty much a do or die situation with that bomb as well.
Well, the door's about to come up. We're going to see them all pile in and get Mayward out. Oh, it's going to be just the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt comes through. Oh, big charge into the Reinhardt as well. And with a biotic grenade to take King out of the fight, we are down below the 30-second marker. And Rams are in the middle of a losing team fight. If they want another go, they've got to back out now. A lot of pressure being thrown onto Manchild. They managed to get out of it. They're down on the low ground behind, looking for the D-Mech onto the D.Va. Not going to find it. And now at 10 seconds left to go, it's going to be down to the Rams to throw everything they have at this and try and eke out a win. But doing that with the freezer door open is incredibly difficult. We are going to see Narthalion come back in on the wrecking ball. He gets shattered. He gets frozen. Kozal able to pile in the damage onto the squishier support, onto the squishier DPS, take them out. And we see the D.Va fireworks at the back end of the fight.
The Centurions didn't need to use any ultimates there. They were just throwing them in for fireworks at the end. They won that fight before any ultimates came on the table. They didn't use the Blizzard. They didn't use the Nano Boost. They didn't use the other DPS ult either. They just walled off the Reinhardt. Whatever that was. Like it's hard to remember these things. It's a self-destruct. That's what it was. Not even a DPS ult. But yeah, they just got the wall onto the Reinhardt, and immediately the counterpin, the freeze, immediately focusing down 2 of the Rams. And before they could even invest, the fight was over. And they couldn't get out either.
I feel like there's a little bit of bad luck on the side of Rams there. So we actually saw Lackey get really, really battered around there, drop to the lower ground, gets charged, gets shattered. But because all of that happened under the Immortality field, it may as well not have happened.
Well, that's the argument that a lot of people seem to think that Batiste does not belong in Overwatch. But at the end of the day, he is in the game. He is being utilized by the Centurions at great effect.
Indeed.
And right now, the Centurions are looking very strong. We mentioned that, maybe they weren't the strongest on a teamwork point of view from the first map, but right now, they are looking that way. And the only real crack I saw in the armor was a little bit of an overcommitment to holding that first choke.
But I do like, so it looks to me at the minute like Centurions are going to be running that Sim TP strat, but I much prefer the team comp they've got to do this with the Mei to control the space and the speed of the fight, and with the Reinhardt there just to swing in the hammer. It seems like they're setting themselves up for a lot more success.
And on the other side as well, the Rams running a very interesting composition here. Maybe anticipating.
You can hear the air quotes on that one.
I didn't even do any air quotes, so that it's a very, very interesting composition here. I'm interested to see how this works against a Reinhardt, because usually that hook is so hard to hit.
Oh, Manchild with the early one. Beautiful headshot onto Ruby Fox, takes them out. I don't think we're going to see Centurions come into that just yet. That's an unfortunate start to your push.
That is one upside to what the Rams are running, though. They're going to have a much better shield uptime, but their win condition is a hold hook, and with 2 heroes that make both of those abilities hard to hit, that's going to make it very difficult for them.
Oh, well, TP is up. Beautiful deployment. It comes out, and out come the turrets. They've got the point done, and they've separated out the Mei, who has to go into the ice block just to survive through that. And between the turrets and the hammer, there's nothing really more that they can do. Toddley got King out of the fight there, gets dragged in close range to the Hanzo, and that is a very quick camp for the Centurions.
Very, very fast, and they caught the Rams napping. The Rams probably were ult tracking, planning, getting ready for the next fight. While the Centurions were like, okay, we're 6. We don't need to wait for this. Let's just go.
Here's the thing. Outlaw actually gave away the fact they were playing the sim. They couldn't go for the sort of surprise TP. They were firing in those orbs. They had to know the TP was coming.
I think they may have even thought the Centurions were backing off to swap rather than just to get their 6th member back. And they caught napping, like we say. They weren't ready for the TP. And by the time they were in that position, 2 of them were already gone.
Oh, what is this pathing though? Straight onto point. They know they've only got a cap just past 1 tick. A beautiful freeze takes Manchild out of the action. Immortality is on the field already, taken down. But the kills are just there in spades for the Centurions, and with that 2,000 HP wall to play around, it was over in the blink of an eye for the Rams.
They were so aware of how they want to be playing that. They want to be on the point. They want to control a specific area around that Symmetra with the turrets, with that beam that just keeps charging up, with the Mei. They got in that position straight away, isolated one of their main threats, which is that Hanzo, and it just felt like from that point on, the Rams were just... They couldn't even get close. They couldn't get in range of the Centurions to do any damage.
It was really unfortunate, and I feel like we've seen Outlaw highlighted there, particularly for that play of the game, but actually the way that Symmetra pick was played, the speed and the aggression of getting in on the TP, especially on that first approach, because it was down and in. It was so quickly done. It's very hard to respond to that. Yeah,
it was so great as well, because that's what you want. That's why you run the Symmetra over like the Lucio or something like that, because the Lucio's a lot more gradual. Even if he is very fast, he still has that travel time. Symmetra's instant. It's immediate, and that's what they were. They come around the choke. They don't waste any time behind the shield. shield. They're straight on the point. They're straight setting the turrets up. And everyone took that teleporter simultaneously. There was no one lagging behind, no one missing the teleporter. And that was so important for them getting that stronghold set up on the point.
And to play into what you were just saying there, by running the Lucio, yes, you get that speed boost, but it still keeps you in range of the incoming damage as you try and transition to points. So to arrive on the point with all of your team, with turrets, with all of your health pool, it puts you immediately into like the defensive positioning, which it just played out so well for them.
And especially a team with lower elos and less experience in these types of scenarios, having to flip around and suddenly being the offensive team, it plays so many mind games with you, and it's so hard for the Rams to adapt to that, especially with such a a static composition that you have with the Orisa over that Reinhardt.
It's interesting that we're seeing it at these low levels, and I feel like it's a thing that we've seen at lower levels of play for a very long time because it requires a lot of coordination to counter. The fact that we are now seeing that, particularly from one team, at a very high level of play, speaks to me as someone who has played at a low level for quite a long time. Like, yes, all that time wasn't in vain. Professionals are doing this now.
It's almost like the lower reloads have actually predicted the future.
Well, I've known for a long time that the lower reloads are actually the better reloads.
I mean, at least that's what my DPS players will have.
So we find ourselves at match point. We're playing first to three, not best of three, first to three here. Moving over to our hybrid map, which is going to be the fan favorite, King's Row.
It feels like we go to this map a lot, but that's because it's such a good map. It's enjoyable to watch, it's enjoyable to play, and this is, one of the first maps in Overwatch history where we had like a variation of map-dependent meta. This was where we saw a lot of Zarya come into play, while Dive was running Riot on the rest of the map pool. So, this map, we could see something different come out. We could see the same come out. We could see something entirely tailor-made come out.
Well, we probably could. Can I let you in on a little bit of a secret? Everyone says, oh, King's Row is the best map in the game, it's my favourite map. I actually prefer Numbani. I think it's more fun.
In terms of hybrid, King's Row is my favorite. In terms of hybrid specifically, though. But I'd say out of all the maps in the game, probably Lijiang. I think I really like Lijiang Tower.
It's usually a toss-up between Lijiang Tower and King's Row. But yeah, Busan's pretty good. Yeah. But really, we're at the point now where Rams have to win this one if they want to keep themselves in the game at all. Because match point, this is it. You get 3 goes. If you can't make one of those work, sorry, you're taking that L. You're getting that loss. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and this is this mindset is where we mentioned a lot last season. Morale. This is where you need that central player. This is where maybe, for example, Lack would be able to pull the Centurions back in this scenario because you need to pull your team back mentally. You've been beaten down twice, knocked down twice. Do you have the mentality? Do you have the mental strength to get back up and fight again? Win out these maps and take it to a map 5. Maybe win out the map 5, which in itself is stressful as anything. So it's going to be tough for the Rams, but if they do have that central leader who can really pull them from the ground, get them back up, and get them fighting again, I think they could be in with a chance to at least take a map.
And it does make me wonder if the reason that we're seeing the success for the Centurions at the minute is that they do have that leadership role in Lack.
Maybe that is exactly what Lack has done so far. He's just led this team, not just with his calling, but also with the aggression. Oh,
wow. One man child. Both Mays traded out, but a beautiful bite of grenade takes him out. What even is this kill feed? It's red for blue. King getting in there so strongly, able to find Outlaw right away. It looked like such a good offensive push for the Centurions, but they just pushed right the way back.
How long has it been since we've seen a Junkrat on the field? Outlaw bringing that out and putting down so much spam. The Rams didn't know what to do with it there. And King playing this Doomfist as well, that's going to put so much pressure on Ducky, who has came in for Todd. Might we add.
Indeed, yes, sorry, I forgot to mention that substitution. Well, King's going to use that wall for additional damage on the seismic slam. Goes in, finds the frozen Uno and takes them out of the fight. That's going to be numbers advantage over to Rams for now. This is a very good-looking defense from them.
The strange thing about that is we mentioned that the kill feed was going red, blue, trading back and forth. That usually favors the offense on a hybrid map, especially King's Row, where the walk back is so long. But the Rams just played that so well. They backed off, they played it slowly, and now they've really started to make it work and getting some ultimates on the table. But the Centurions are also getting theirs online, and Outlaw nearly has that Riptire, which is also very, very powerful.
But Lack has the Graviton Surge ready to go. He's going to be right up in amongst them, and they've already burnt the Immortality Field. With the Immortality Field down, they have no defensive ult to counter this grab, and we are going to see the Riptide coming in for the Centurions. Going to combo with it. Want to slow it down a little bit, coming in from behind. Finds Nathaniel, takes both tanks out of the game. So well played for Centurions. We are going to see Anxiety throwing in the Coalescence. King left alive, struggling to hold on to his crown. wants to try and get at least one more kill on the back end of that, and might have just brought this back. Takes Outlaw out of the fight. Anxiety is still up and finds Ducky Mike. This looked like a done deal for the Centurions, but the Rams just brought it right the way back.
How is this happening? King also getting more picks onto Lack on that Doomfist as well. Ducky Mike holding onto the Shadow, thinking the fight's won. That Riptire should have sealed it, but somehow the Rams, they're playing it slow, they're playing it smart, and they only gave up 35%, which, considering how won that fight should have been for the Centurions, is amazing.
Honestly, the pick there with the Riptire in the middle of the fight, take both tanks out, is probably what threw them back into this fight. They are going to be coming up on a Blizzard, and they already have the Shatter. Getting the Shatter in position's going to be difficult, particularly when you don't have any HP left. They do see the Amplification Matrix thrown in. King able to get in with a rising uppercut, and now Manchild looking to clean up on the back end and generate a little bit more ult charge. Volio with a dive. Ooh, thought we were going to see that self-destruct thrown in just for good measure, but holds onto it for now. We're going to hit 1 minute 14 seconds, and the Centurions need to make something happen quickly.
But Lack has been at high charge this whole time. He has another grab on the table. Maybe that's what Volio's going.
Outlaw about to get the high noon. You can see them repositioning. Oh no, the Blizzard gets eaten! Maywar comes out to try and counter some of that. We've got the Graviton Surge on the field, and the self-destruct in over the back line. 2 kills from ultimates in those few seconds from the Rams. Outlaw threw in the high noon, couldn't find any value either, and it is Rams cleaning up again. Where was this team earlier in the match?
That was clutch from the Diva there. Just eating that mail there. We thought that could have been the Centurions' fight. Lack still gets the grab off, but that Blizzard could have been the nail in the coffin for this first point. They do still have the Sound Barrier and the Shadow on the offense, but the Rams also have a few elements to work with, coming up on the Blizzard and having that Earth Shatter as well. So massive mind games about to come out.
Oh, so a lot of damage go into Neko there. Oh, Doomfist punch to start things off. Ducky Mike still holding on to the Shadow. Is up to Ryan. Mind games time. Oh, he gets around the shield. Finds 3, but the counter Shadow is there. Sound Barrier comes online to keep the Centurions alive through this. Outlaw starting to pick up kills. Finds Manchild, but King once more able to get Ducky Mike. They are just about keeping this alive. May taps into the point to keep this alive with the ice block. Able to find King here. Coalescence going to be coming out now from Anxiety as well. Trying to beam down targets. Can't quite find them just yet. The bubble there onto Ruby Fox to keep them alive was huge, and now with the respawns in the Centurions' advantage, they are in a position to start trying to take this over. They just need to get a few more kills on the board. Here's the self-destruct, the Graviton Surge as well. Folio finds 2 with the self-destruct. Lack takes himself out of the fight, and as the overtime ticks down, Rams manage the full hold.
Wow, oh my. How Volio getting 2 with that self-destruct. He just went on a rampage there. Ate some Blizzard throughout. They got the Blizzard down on the point, which brought them back into the fight to begin with. And he prevents all value from the high noon as well. Nothing for Uno there on that high noon. Or Outlaw, should I say. Not Uno, but regardless. And then he throws in a 2-man bomb as well. Oh my. Volio with a hard carry performance. But Rams doing a great job at, like we say, pulling themselves up off the ground and fighting back into the series.
Centurions honestly looked like they had that fight 2, maybe even 3 times, and every time they had the ultimates to win the fight, Rams just bounced right the way back. They found something in their back pocket to throw at the team fight and keep it going. We're not done and dusted yet though. Centurions, if they can stop 47% capture from the Rams, if they manage a complete shutout, they will take this map, but it is a big ask.
Especially considering the Rams, now they know they only have to make that 47%. They can just play for one fight. They can build up 6 ultimates, they can bait out the Centurions' ultimates, force them into positions that they don't really want to be in, and then they can capitalize. They can play it a lot smarter, whereas the Centurions were playing for a full map, not just one fight. So it'll be interesting to see if the Rams employ that strategy, but something to keep in mind as well, as much as we gave the Rams so much credit there because it was a stellar defense, the Centurions were very sloppy at times. That was why they were able to find these picks to bring the fights back. So just keep that in the backs of your minds as you watch this, you know, the second half of this map, because that could also be the Centurions' undoing if they start to keep that sloppiness up.
And notice that we've had Lack swap over onto the Reinhardt now. Ducky Mike taking up the Orisa, maybe deciding to take a little bit more of a captain role and try and deal a good portion of the damage for the team. But King has really been earning his crown here. Oh, he baits out the Maywall and gets out again. That's great. They can afford to push in a lot more steadily now. King really in a position to turn this around with the additional chaos that Doomfist adds. Gets out of the way of the Ice Freeze as well. playing so well. And Uno gets taken. Uno finds Manchild. So Centurions do have an advantage here on the defense. They can afford to push in a little bit as Kozel kicks in there quite out of the fight. Uno just piling into the choke with those normal clicks. Not able to find anything just yet, but closes in on 55% of their ultimate. Not a bad position to be in.
But again, the Reinhardt that is winning out the duels is not a lion on the Rams right now. Lack maybe getting an extra bit of ult charge from that fire strike, but he's still sitting behind in the ult charge. Volio doing so much to negate those fire strikes. And, oh, what a fire strike to get even more ult charge on the board.
These are chunky fire strikes. Lack definitely lagging behind. He's going to be closing in on this incredibly quickly. Gets stunned, triggers the use of the immortality field. It went down very early. Narvaline about to come in on the shadow. Throws it in, but it hits nothing but shield. In the meantime, the King is going to take Kozo out of the fight. The Blizzard gets eaten. Volio has been doing so well at keeping these. King does get one, but it's not going to be enough. That is a massive shadow from Lack. The fire strike to follow up, even bigger. And Centurions again look like they're about to lose that, but just eke their way back in.
But again, Volio coming up with these clutch plays that for the rest of the series we haven't seen them. He's just come alive on this map, as have the rest of the Rams, and they still have ultimates to work with. Centurions are going to be coming up on that supercharger, and we mentioned a lot how good that can be for your ult economy last season. But the Rams are still just playing for this one fight. This is not over. You still have 2 minutes to work with.
Blizzard, Self-Destruct, Meteor Strike, Coalescence, Amplification Matrix. Rams can all just walk in and play Symphony in Q and win this team fight. Out comes the Amplification Matrix. It will buy them space if nothing else. Ducky Mike taken out by King. Completely forgot that was in the offing. And now Rams have control of the point with the Blizzard on the field. The Rams are in a position to take this all the way into the next map. It's going to be a valiant stall from Outlaw as they get taken off the point, but it's not going to be enough for the Centurions to make a substantial return to the point. Rams take us to 2-1 in the series.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Where was this 2 maps ago?
Well, you know, look, we see this a lot, particularly in Arena Clash. It can take teams a little while to warm themselves up. And I actually feel like a part of this was King. I don't think Centurions were ready to deal with a Doomfist. Like, just the chaos that he is sowing here. They just didn't seem to have an answer for it.
I mean, the entirety of the Rams came alive that map. But of course, really? King bringing out that Doomfist, clearly a very strong pick for him on that hero. But Volio on that D.Va, he did so much. We've
three ult eats in that game?
I think
that was crazy.
Unless my master's off, 3. And we've said that before in previous metas, that D.Va is a hero that has to do everything. She has to be peeling, she has to be putting down damage, keeping their main tank alive, stopping anyone flanking. Volio did that very well. Like, handling so many responsibilities at once, it's very hard to do that, and he just seems to go from, playing a fairly, a solid D.Va, but not one to, like, hard carry, to suddenly bringing out this performance on King's Row that just seems to spark the rest of the Rams up, and I don't know where it came from, but they look like a completely different team.
D.Va is one of these characters that I think if you look at them in their totality, they can seem a little bit overpowered because, huge health pool, a second chance once you get demacked, the defense matrix that is the bane of pretty much everybody with a projectile ultimate in the game. You can do everything, but you also have to be good at everything. So a character that does a lot, but you need to be able to capitalize on it.
And she did a great job on that D.Va of just or allowing a team to capitalize on it. And they were very good at controlling their aggression, not only just going all in, not throwing everything there, but being like, okay, we've won this fight, let's back off a second. We saw that at the end there. King got the pick. They didn't immediately rush in. They got their cooldowns back, they healed up, and they played it very, very smart. And it's not just the Centurions messing up that won them that map. They had a great performance throughout. And heading into Dorado here, that's some very good momentum that they've started to build, especially considering how dominant that map was.
We might be seeing the start of a reverse sweep here. We could see them take the next 3 maps and take us to the entire series, but they have to keep playing at that level. And it's easy to exhaust yourself. If you pour all of your being into these games, you can find yourself coming up short at the final minute.
And you've got to think at this point as well, maybe we're going to see, they're going to start to be playing off this adrenaline. They're going to be thinking, okay, maybe we can do this. They're going to start to feel it in the game. If they can work well with that, I think they can pull it back. But if they, they're not used to being in this scenario, they're not used to having this extra layer of adrenaline pushing them forward, they could get overzealous, they could start overextending, they could get overexcited, and that could be their downfall just as much as their upbringing.
We have had a substitution coming up as well, which maybe tells us a little bit about what the Centurions are thinking was wrong in that matchup. So Ducky Mike is taking a step back again. Todd Leave coming back in. They may just feel that they were a stronger Reinhardt and more flexible tank, and they're putting their loss down to that. I don't think that's the case, personally. I think it's just that Rams found another gear.
I mean, you've got to think as well, Todd has been playing mainly the Reinhardt. Lack has been on the more off-tank role. He's been playing the D.Va, he's been playing the Zarya, and he's looked a lot stronger on that off-tank role. So maybe we look at Ducky and we see more of an Orisa player. We saw him play pretty much solely Orisa there. More of an off-tank player, though, which is forcing Lack onto a less comfortable role, and meaning that strength that he had within the previous maps wasn't there because he was forced into a different role. And although his Reinhardt was no slouch, it left a little to be desired in comparison to what the Rams were running.
We did see Narthaline do an incredible job of landing all those fire strikes and building that ultimate up so quickly. And it seemed to me like Centurions were struggling just to stay out of the way of that. They were grouped together, so the fire strike, which passes through character models, was hitting pretty much everybody on that run through.
And that's the difference between these two compositions. You see, the Reinhardt gets a lot of value about the enemy being grouped up and tight. But on the side of the Centurions, they needed to be grouped up because their healers worked around that strategy. They were all area of effect. I believe they were in Baptiste and Lucio. Both of those heroes work so heavily around being grouped up, area of effect. So when you start to split up, it makes it a lot harder to get that value. And at the same time, it also makes it a lot easier for Narthaline to get those massive fire strikes and build those shatters up quickly. And another thing to mention about the fire strike charge, that D.Va was huge because no fire strike got through the Rams at all.
And to be honest, even with the changes to the D.Va defense matrix, it's a lot more visible now than it was on previous patches. It can still be kind of tricky to manage that because it's on such a quick tick. You don't know whether you've undercounted or overcounted into whether to expect that. But you're right, that the D.Va pick for them was absolutely huge. But we're not out of the woods yet if we are looking for the Rams' performances here. We are still at match point as we move on to Dorado. Centurions, if they manage the win here, will take the series. Rams now in control of the payload, having got past that initial pesky Maywall, and Bastion. They're running the pirate ship, everybody. Bastion double shield, a May for if we get a little bit too close for comfort. This is going to be really hard to dislodge.
Especially with the fact that they're running the single shield with the Zarya there. They have the May for a little bit of disengage. They have the McCree if they do get up close and personal. But it's going to be very hard for them. Although they're still on the high ground, they can drop right now.
This is what they're looking for. This is, you can sort of tell Lack giving the commands here to get in and start to contest. But all that Maywall did was give Bastion a better shooting gallery. Out comes both of the immortality fields. King able to find Todd Leave here. You've got to back up out of the way of this Bastion, guys, because you now don't have a main tank. Uno on the side looking to find something around a shield. Can't manage it. Instead gets burnt by the fire strike. We need to see some swaps here from the Centurions because what they've got is not going to counter the ship.
They're not even going to get a second fight. They die so late that they're just going to waltz straight through 5 minutes and 25 seconds on the time bank.
Oh no,
and
Todd Leave gets caught out as well.
Oh,
didn't want to take that engagement, and King's about to get the configuration tank form too, and the Centurions are still in this fight for some reason.
No swaps. They have not made any swaps either. They need to identify the fact this is going to be a massive stagger.
Nartha didn't quite manage that one, but King was able to sweep up that mistake anyway. Narthalion's got the shadow ready to go. Centurions look so on the back foot right now.
They do have some ultimates, but ultimates cannot pull back. Such a heavy compositional disadvantage.
Oh no, Lack! They just seem to not want to take this fight together as a team. They've given up over half of streets without a proper team fight.
This, like you say, they haven't taken a fight yet, and Northline has this shatter as well, so even if they try and approach, they could really just stuff it all with that shatter. Pull together, configuration tank, Blizzard, all of these things are online, and Centurions have Matrix?
Well, we do have on the high ground Kozol with the amplification matrix, but it's just too little too late. King with the configuration tank form takes one. Out comes the Blizzard just for good measure. Lack desperately trying to buy a little bit of time for the team. Will get the immortality field, will get the kill onto King, but the res, the first time it's been needed all game, brings... Oh, it gets interrupted. They don't get the res through. On to King. There's the shatter coming out from Todd Leave. The counter shatter from Narthaline. Even better, gets the pin connect into Lag, doesn't secure the DMEC, but Lack comes right the way back in, wants more of the hammer, gets DMEC. Volio looking for cleanup duty really, but they are going to be coming into the Blizzard. It is a Hail Mary of a Blizzard, and they give up streets.
They didn't want to give up streets. That was not by choice. They were pulled off the car. Volio showing his promos on this Orisa as well. King just swapping over to the soldier. He's got 2 in this fight as well with the legs.
Legs getting value in 2020. You know, we were talking about Rams being quite a fun team to watch because they just had Yamba there to really like amp up their performance. The Rams here have been playing so well in these past 2 maps, and King gets Kozel. Kozel nowhere near the rest of his team, and now King has huge control over the high ground. He's not being contested. Lack finally comes in with the dive. King very dangerously puts down the health pack and gets out again. Lack now with the self-destruct, but Nartha Lion takes... Oh, Lack might just be completely uncontested here on the high ground. Outlaw goes down. Lack has the self-destruct, wants to take out that immortality field before they throw this in, but they're holding on to it for so long. Here's the self-destruct, but it's behind the car. It's behind the May wall. It gets nothing. Uno's going to find Volio, but the Rams just have all the momentum in the world behind them, and they've got the Blizzard on the point. It's so hard to contest through that. All they get out of it is the D-Mag, but it is kills aplenty for the Rams. Centurions going to be completely locked out. 4 minutes on the time bank for the Rams here. What do you want to say about that one, Yoka? You seem lost for words.
A little bit. Wow. The Bastion was a great pick to come out with because you
Really
don't have
is.
much to lose. You know, if you get full health, so be it. And it's also great because it does require such heavy levels of team play to break it. Even if the Centurions are a better team mechanically, it's not about mechanics when you're facing into that Gatling gun.
It's so difficult to dislodge a Bastion. You've got to throw so much resource at it, and we just didn't see any swaps from Centurions to do that.
They eventually swapped over to the likes of Junkrat and Hanzo, but it was so late in the day for them to actually make that swap that they were already fighting in probably the worst point for those heroes. They swapped off the Bastion already and just, you know, picked apart the Centurions actually there in the final point.
I've been so impressed with King here, honestly. His flexibility, the performance he put on with the Doomfist, with the Soldier. I'm not going to credit his Bastion because Bastion is point and click, but like his flexibility and performance has been so good here.
I feel like King seems to be showing himself as more of an off-meta specialist because he's brought out the meta picks, he's brought out the Maze, brought out the, I believe at one point he brought out something like the Reaper. I'm not 100% on that, but he's brought out those meta picks. And they haven't been bad, but they haven't been shining. But here he's brought out the Soldier, got a load of value immediately on that Soldier. He's brought out the Bastion, and like we say, he is point and click, but he's been very good at, not pushing too deep, not just staying on the cart, but knowing when to back off. Bringing out, the Doomfist as well. We credit his Doomfist. He's really been on top form with those off-meta picks.
And it worries me a little bit what we're seeing here from the Centurions. Nartha? What was that, buddy? Maybe not the most impactful of charges there, and you are not going to catch up to the rat and the ball, my friend.
But they are going to run this wrecking ball. Oh, he's frozen on the high ground!
Oh no, ran right into that May. And now King just has complete control of this high ground, able to burn down that Rhine shield and takes Lack out of the fight immediately. They are moving this through. They get pulled back off the point, and King's in the middle of reloading, so can't quite get the capitalization on that yet. We're going to see them go down here and chase the ball. Now, he knows that somebody's down there. Outlaw with the fan, the hammer will get man-child, and it's not a terrible opening here, but it's not enough. We need somebody to go and contest the big Omnic with the big gun on the high ground. Otherwise, Rams are going to keep winning out these fights. Taking Nartha out of the fight is a great start when you have that so heavy respawn advantage. Well, King's going to take out the Immortality Field and Kozel with just a couple of rockets, and Centurion's got a bunch of kills there, but they just couldn't make it work. King's going to get pocketed. No, sorry, Todd. That's going to be a hard one to win out. Ooh. Going into Sentry mode. Challenging Outlaw. Outlaw is going to have the High Noon. This is what he wants. He wants to get into the back and get a sneaky High Noon and secure at least one kill. No. He's going to come around the side. No. Wants to get the Immortality Field. Immortality Field is down, but they know he's there. He's going to get Battle Mercy. He manages to ban the hammer. Anxiety taken out. Oh, but run over by Volio and by the Wrecking Ball. Lack now has the Shatter ready to go, but he's trying to do that into the face of an Immortality Field, and King is... Toddley with the mines finds King. This is a huge opening for Centurions, but they've got to be more decisive about this. Nartha Lion falling very low, having to rely on that Immortality Field and keep themselves up, still not receiving the healing. Oh, big shatter, and I think that interrupted the Mail as well. No, the Mail came up on the field. Toddley starting to clean up on the Wrecking Ball. Kozel finds Volio here, and Lack still swinging away, has the Shadow, puts Kozel on the ground, but that is an ult that you are going to want back. You only got 1 kill out of it, but it keeps the momentum in their favor. Centurions still able to push on, and Lack would like to keep going and keep that fight rolling, secure the kills on the back end to allow them to comfortably take point A.
But look at the difference in time bank here, and actually King is going to find Lack as well.
And they are still only just getting this payload into position. Immortality field up, and then immediately down again. And it looks like that might not have been close enough to allow the contest. Contest is still going at 0.36 meters. If you're the Centurions with no ults on the board here, you can keep this going. If you are the Rams, you don't mind every second that you keep this going. And Outlaw, with a massive showing on the McCree, may just have turned this around for the Centurions. But the contest is still going! Outlaw is playing mentally here, but look at all the time that got burnt off. They come into this with less time on streets than Rams finished on the entire map.
Outlaw has been playing this right-click McCree so well.
Right-click.
Flash right-click, flash right-click. But he's getting so much value out of it, there's not a problem with that. Centurions, though, they're only going to have the mines and the amplification matrix, so maybe a few economy pushes wanted, especially with the Rams coming up on those Shadow, on that Shadow, should I say, and also the High Noon and Valkyrie. Oh, what a pick, though.
Ooh, totally even. This is the sort of problem that we saw from Centurions in the last round. Rams really need to get out and get a full recontest here, not just keep it going with a stagger fight.
They are starting to adapt a little bit, though. You can see King also playing that McCree that we've mentioned a few times before to try and deal with that Wrecking Ball. Kozel also dropping very low because of the poke, but Volio gets demaxed.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
No.
Well, King still holding onto the Tynoon, can at the very least buy them some space, but that is, it's raining mines, everybody! Immortality field goes down, Kozel able to find King. Todd Leave up on the high ground now, getting ready for that power grab to come back in. Todd Leave will get one as the Mercy escapes through the minefield, gets a second onto Manchild, finds the third with the melee kill onto Neko. Todd Leave has done so well on a Wrecking Ball that kind of shouldn't have worked in this situation.
They're having to fully swap to try and counter this Wrecking Ball because they just don't know what to do with it. Todd Leave has just been in the backline the whole time with these mines. They can't deal with it, and that's a great stagger onto Volio as well. King playing the Reaper now. We mentioned he might have played it earlier. He has now, but is this too late? Just like the Centurions, have the Rams left this so late, and even though they have a lower time bank, it's only looking to be about a minute slower, which, considering how fast the Rams were, that's not too bad.
Todd Leave looking for a big pile drive here, get as much of that ult charge as possible. Comes in, gets a cheeky 20% on the ult charge. Can't quite get a kill, but Kozel able to get 2. Lack gets 1 with the self-destruct, and we're going to see Outlaw on the high ground with the High Noon. Looking for 2, goes to the shield and finds the Reinhardt. Ooh, hello. Will get the kill onto the D-Back Volio, but they trade out with Ruby Fox going down. Totally in a position here to completely stuff the recon test. That's a choke for the mines right there. You've got to go the long way around to get to point now, and they know where you're going to be coming from. Immortality field goes down, and here's the high ground approach now from Kozel, able to rain in additional damage and healing from there. Todd Leave gets 1 with the minefield. They knew the minefield was there. Why did they go through it? King starting to turn at the heat a little bit. As King gets 2, he gets Outlaw, he gets Todd Leave. The Shadow comes through, but it looks like Rams may just be bringing this back. They get the kill onto the pilot form of the Diva. Ruby Fox will get Nathan Lion, but I think Rams have too much on the point here to really give this up just yet. Uno, swapping over to a Reaper of their own, is looking for value but can't find it just yet. Volio diving the support on the high ground, able to just turn casually and take Uno out of the fight. Rams finally managed to put up a hold.
And that was a very expensive fight on both sides, but the Rams come out of it with the superior economy. They're nearing a Blizzard, they're going to have the Death Blossom and that Coalescence as well. Centurions, the closest element they have is that High Noon, but without anything else, they just really have to hope that they can force the Rams back into a corner. North Lion is going to go back to the Reinhardt now, which as is Todd Leave as well. So they're actually going to be playing this matchup, which the Rams have been winning it fairly often.
They have. I mean, even if Centurions can win this next fight, it's going to be 2 minutes down on the time bank at the very least. Kozel's about to close in on yet another amplification matrix, and Outlaw has the High Noon. Those two together could spell a world of hurt. Instead, Manchild's going to throw in the Blizzard, but it doesn't do much other than stuff up the point. There's the High Noon from Outlaw, away in the back line, waiting for it to go down, and Outlaw with the triple. That's going to be such an opening now for the Centurions. They don't have any ults left to play with, but Rams don't really have any players left to play with. This Death Blossom has to be way more impactful, but it just finds nothing but D.Va defense matrix. Centurions now in a position to start closing the final few meters on this payload. They've got less than a minute left to go, and it seemed like they couldn't handle that Bastion defense last time, so they're going to need more time than this in the time bank, and it is getting stalled out somewhat by the Rams. That's unfortunate. Self-destruct too high, too wide, didn't find anything. Centurions with the kills in their favor for now. One last go at a contest here for all the Rams, but Centurions push right the way in. The Moira gets to point. It buys time for the Wrecking Ball to get back in. Nathalion wants to get this spin cycle going as quickly as they can. Earthshatter finds Nathalion and sends him flying. But Rams are doing such a good job of staggering this out. Everybody just tapping into the point for long enough to keep this going. If they keep this going, they might get them down into OT. How did Volio find Todd leaving there? Uno able to find King, who's come back in on the Tracer. Volio falling low, has to top up into the high ground to try and preserve that mech a little bit longer. Now into the pilot form. It's the final 2 seconds on the clock. We are down into overtime, and this stall from the Rams is still going on for the final half a meter of progress on the payload. Lack with 1 kill onto a support. Kozel going to find Nathalion. Uno closing in on a Death Blossom, but they get off the point and they cap. We are going to see another round here, but what a tale of 2 different time banks.
I thought for a minute the Rams were going to pull it back there. I was getting ready to lose my mind if they'd have done that. That was some very... I think the only thing holding the Rams back there was their target focus. They had the ultimates to throw in. They had the heroes to stall with. But there was a moment there where Todd was frozen up on the point. The D.Va was away from him. 3 members surrounded Todd. But they just didn't get the focus there. And I feel like that was the moment where the match slipped away from them there. And they... Fair play to them. They managed to get it to 1 minute. They managed to get to complete overtime, adding an extra minute to their own time bank on top of the 3 minutes and 57 seconds they already had. But, you know, they really showed a very strong showing. Looks like Centurions are going to take a play out of the Rams.
I kind of think if you're at this point, if you are the team with a 1 minute time bank staring into the eyes of the team with a 5 minute time bank, you've got to put all of your eggs into this Bastion-shaped basket and hope that you can just momentum your way to the end of the map.
The interesting thing here, though, look at the single difference between these compositions. On the Centurion side, on the offensive, you have the Reaper. This is going to allow you to play a little bit more aggressively, have someone, you know, harassing the backline, maybe even putting a lot of pressure on King on the Bastion. Manchild is playing the much more defensive Mei. So it looks like the Rams are putting all of their eggs in this basket. Centurions are keeping a pack to one side.
We've got a bit of a swap, though. Actually, this is a very weird change.
No shield?
We're running no shield. They're hoping they can make enough of a nuisance of themselves on these 2 tanks to buy the space for Outlaw to start to get kills. But it makes him so vulnerable. Actually, instead, they're going to throw the defense matrix there to try and keep Outlaw alive. Oh no, the Immortality Field didn't land on the payload. And so we can't actually see the Bastion riding that payload just yet. The first kill of the fight is going to go to Rams, but they trade out with Lack, able to find Nathalion, and now Todd in the back. Whoa, how is this working out for the Centurions? Pile driver from Todd didn't connect with who it was supposed to connect with, and now Lack getting pressured. But Rams still have control of the payload for now. King has the configuration tank bomb ready to go, and I didn't even notice that there was a wrecking bomb. So, oh yeah, I ought to turn and deal with the rat, I guess. Well, out comes the configuration tank bomb. Might have been a little bit too early. Not a huge amount of value from it there. Oh, see somebody on the high ground will get the kill onto Ruby Fox with the dive back in on the Mercy. They can just afford to set up pretty much where they want and catch them as they come in. Lack immediately demegged. Rams have played this absolutely perfectly.
There's one aspect of the Rams defense that I just didn't understand there. Why did they drop? That's the most confusing
they won the map.
part.
They won the map.
They won the map. I'm not going to question it any further than just bringing it up. But that did confuse me. But the Rams showing why the Mei, I think, is way superior. And to be honest, why you run a shield with a Bastion?
Indeed. Well, I said they'd won the map, and it's kind of a technicality at this point. Centurions have a lot to defend here for 5 minutes. Again, Rams are in a situation where they can just sort of almost wait for the passive ult charge to tick up, leave spawn, and then just all press Q and win.
We'll get some AKM shatters.
Get some AKM shatters.
Get some AKM shatters on the board. But again, like you say, 5 minutes for 45 meters. You can have one person on the payload the whole time, and still, I think, if the master's right, have 4 minutes left to capture the point if it doesn't work.
It's a really big
It's
ask.
rough.
And honestly, looking at what Centurions have chosen for this defense, it's not the most robust defense.
I'm amazed they didn't go for the Bastion. If they go for the Bastion on offense, it's clear that they know the power of it. They know what it can do. Why not run on defense? I like the fact they're bringing out something different. They're bringing out the Junkrat rather than this meta Reaper or McCree.
And I like where they're holding.
I like where they're holding. They're holding very aggressively, which truthfully they don't really have a choice.
No.
But
you hold high ground here, you're just letting them have the map.
yeah, fighting within 3 meters for the entire time, not fun. But this hold is good.
Oh, what a hold! Immortality Field comes out. They are able to get out of the way, but the high ground advantage immediately lost for Centurions. And we round the first corner. It's got literally a handful of meters left to go. And we've got King just sat on the back, not even on the payload, rotating round in sentry form. Where is the contest? Where are the Centurions? The wall is up. There is only one player this side of it. They have just got the touch, but they've got 5 meters. And no one seems to care. They've just let the Rams have this.
What a wall!
Todd Levy is going to find Manchild, but it's probably too little too late as King finds Ruby Fox, and it is just the lone tanks on the point, desperately trying to keep this going. The D-Mech onto Lack, the kill onto Todd Levy. We've got one May wall between the Rams and tying us up at 2-2. Down goes the pilot form Diva. Now the Lion with the charge gets the pin on the bounce. Rams take us to 2-2.
Wow. I'm amazed that the Centurions gave up that so freely. They gave up the space so quickly. And yes, they got pulled off the high ground. That is an error in its own right. They shouldn't be close enough for that new pull to get that value. They had to hold deep. They had to put all their eggs in a basket. That was an interesting mind kill.
I mean, why was the... Look, in fairness to Anxiety, I wouldn't have looked for a mine up there either. It was kind of... No mine should have been up there.
It's the sort of scenario where obviously the mine is hit the wall before it's hit the ground, so therefore it's stuck to the wall. You see it on maps like Ilios Lighthouse, for example, but... you don't look that high for the mines.
What can you do about that, really?
But on heading back to the ending of that map, I'm surprised they didn't put more faith in that Bastion. They think, okay, because it didn't work on offense, why would it work on defense? I think that was probably their only chance. If they'd have run, either maybe spawn camping with a brawl composition or purely Bastion.
Well, that's the thing. I liked their aggressive positioning, holding on the corner of red. That's pretty classic for that defense. Given what they had to contend with, I would have loved to see them just like, let's play at the spawn doors. Like, the problem starts as soon as the Bastion is able to get on the cart and start that rolling. If you stop that happening, you can burn a lot of time off the clock.
Especially when we think back to metas like GOATs, or even to triple DPS to an extent, where we saw them holding so deep, even on the start when they had a full time bank, just to burn that extra time off the clock. So when you have to burn time off the clock, when you need to play for potentially 2 fights in such a short area, you have to be holding and giving up as little space as possible. So giving up that entire stretch of road up to the golden box of victory, as we call it, that was a heavy misplay, and I think that may have cost them even a chance at that map.
It's unfortunate, and we've seen Centurions start to look a little bit stiff, a little bit wooden. They're not adapting to what the Rams are doing, and Rams have so far demonstrated that they are the more flexible of the two teams.
Definitely.
And as we move into our tiebreaker map, we're going to be going to another control map, this time Oasis. That flexibility for the Rams, and the inflexibility for the Centurions might just be what decides how this goes.
I feel like the Rams are in the Centurions' head right now, because we mentioned that at that halfway point, at the 2-0 point, the Rams had to pull themselves up. One thing we didn't mention, the Centurions had to keep themselves together. They can't get in their own heads about, we've won this series, we can start playing whatever, we can do whatever. And that's what seems to have happened. They've started to think, we don't need to, focus as heavily. We can start playing around a little bit, maybe, running off, doing a flank, having a bit of fun with the wrecking ball. And now they're in a situation where they have to play, fully serious. Otherwise, they're at risk of losing a series that, in theory, should have been locked outright.
That's right, Yoko. We were looking at the point there of talking almost jokingly about getting the reverse sweep going, and that's exactly what we're seeing happening. This is two very small control maps away from having gone the direction of the Rams and giving us the full. We are getting the full 5 of the series. Maybe we'll see this even go to a map 3 on control if the Centurions start to think a little more flexibly. And honestly, starting to think about just trying to directly hamper King's efforts, because I feel like King in these past 2 maps has become a real linchpin of what the Rams are able to do.
I do think the Centurions still have that advantage, though, because they did still win control.
True.
Control is both the most chaotic and most probably meta-heavy map type, because I'll stop saying chaotic at this point because we say it so often. But when we think back to what they've been running, Soldier, Doomfist,
Bastion, Reaper,
they're all heroes. Maybe not Reaper, but the other 3 work a lot better when you're on a moving control point, or when you have to set up in a position first. If you're moving as the fight goes on, like you are on a control point where you have to meet in the middle, that's going to be a lot harder to play those picks on. If you win the first fight, it's going to be great for you, but you have to risk it if you're going for that. And I don't think the Rams really want to be risking it. I think they want to take that head-on duel.
And I think the other thing to consider looking at this is that I feel like Oasis, maybe out of all of the control map sets that we have, is the one that varies the most on a map-by-map basis. Like, the level of high ground control that is available to you changes so drastically between those 3 maps. All of King's picks here, I think particularly in the Doomfist, but require a certain amount of high ground control. You're not going to get the value on Gardens out of a Soldier if you've only got access to the low ground. You've got to be up high, and it makes you much more of a target. So I feel like this is going to be a really hard one to call, and it's going to depend really on whether Centurions can effectively identify who the target is, who the biggest danger is.
I think the big thing about it being Oasis is going to actually enable the Rams, if any control map is going to, because it does have the most high ground to take. On University, you have the side mini pack. On this map, City Center, you have the high ground, you have Teleporter, which is likely the direction the Rams are going to go with King on this Doomfist. Centurions, I imagine they're going to go roadside.
And of course, with Volio on the Diva, here's what they've got: a huge amount of high ground control. They're opting for the rotation up to the jump pack for now. They want to get King looking for a target around the corner, can't quite find it, but is instead going to go up here, get as much height as they can on this initiation with the seismic slam. No, going for the drop down with a punch. Oh, hello! Flashbang! Outlaw not able to find the kill. Lack follows up, and now Lack has a bit of charge on their side. Doesn't have the protective bubble to stop the freeze coming through, but Centurions look to me to have won this early fight.
I've got to think if the Rams ran on Lucio there, they may have a better chance, not only from the speed and the fact they could get to the engagement so much quicker, but they were playing so close to an edge. Ruby Fox had a free reign if they wanted to go for a boop. Rams had no real chance of, capitalizing on the aggressive but wide positioning that the Centurions took.
Oh, that's a big initiation from Rams. Anxiety already with the Coalescence looking to start things in. Outlaw with the Fan the Hammer can't find anything. Need to get away from that amplification matrix from Centurions, because that is a lot of additional damage coming your way. Nartha Lion closing. Oh, hello. That's a Maywall, buddy. That's your own Maywall, in fact. That's not going to take damage. Nartha Lion about to get this Earthshatter online. Can do a lot to reorientate this team fight, but Lack already has the grab, throws them in, manages to get the melee kill onto the immortality field, and Toddley is going to find Neko. King taken down, Earthshatter thrown in from both sides. We got the Blizzard on the board from Uwa as well, and Centurions keep hold of this.
If you're the Rams, you have to be holding on to ultimates. You're getting them out of the Centurions, you're getting the Blizzard out, the Shatter out. Hold on to your ultimates. Play it safer. Play it more patiently. You use 2 ultimates after the fight is lost, after the fight's completely done and dusted. King's going to make a swap to the McCree. He's not finding the value he needs to on the Doomfist. That Diva right now, Volio, is going to be making the difference. He needs to negate that damage, and he also needs to make sure he's not being farmed by Lack on the Zarya.
And that's the big interaction you've got to watch this time.
Oh, what
Volio trying to get the dive onto Outlaw in the middle of this high noon, but it's a nice big separation with the Blizzard thrown in for good measure. The freeze comes through onto Toddley, takes them down, and on the back of that ultimate, Rams open that wide open. Outlaw's still up. He was on the high ground. I suspect probably not going to want to throw that high noon in just yet.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a, I guess, a Rams move, actually. They were throwing a lot of ultimates in the fight's lost, but only using really 2 ultimates there. They use the Coalescence, they use that Blizzard as well, but just a great wall. And that's what you want out your Mei player. You want to be getting those walls in. I'm surprised they're not trying to hold the choke. And Outlaw.
Outlaw's going to be looking
flank.
for that solo player, 6-man High Noon. We all look to see so very much, but he's got to wait for them to close the distance. But honestly,
Totally asked to scout this.
ooh, Todd Leaf goes down, and Outlaw backs away from the edge, knows that he can't throw that in just yet. And Volio's going to be holding onto a self-destruct in this next fight. Rams have a good opportunity here. Outlaw not playing with a team is putting them at a disadvantage. They're in a 5v6 the whole time.
They have such low frontline pressure with that Mei and no McCree there. Like you say, it's putting them at a massive disadvantage. But Volio has to hold on to the mech. He has to know that there's only 5 players in front of him, that the McCree is nowhere to be seen. He has to keep that Matrix available, because once that's down, that's when you get the solo 6k.
Well, if Outlaw's going to do it, it needs to happen now. We're at 53%, and Rams Centurions can't afford to lose too many more fights here. Volio escapes to the high ground. Low health. Oh, Graviton Surge comes out. Immortality field up. Here's Outlaw on the high ground. Able to back away. Oh no, the Immortality field didn't go down. Nothing came out of the High Noon. He held it for 2 minutes and nothing happened with it. Totally will have the Shadow, will secure the Fire Strike kill onto Volio. It's starting to look a little bit more brawly. Nava with the pin, interrupted by the Shatter. Outlaw, totally getting 2 on the board. Centurions, I don't know how they managed it, but they bring this right the way back.
He just styled on him. The 360 Shatter onto the pin. Nothing Northline can do. They do have a lot of ultimates to re-engage, and only the Blizzard.
Quick.
But they have to get through a Blizzard to get to the point. That's the massive thing about the Centurions' ult economy.
Oh, big amplification matrix.
No.
Uno in the back. King finds 2 with the High Noon. Nartha coming in close and personal. Finds the waiting shield of the enemy. Reinhardt, the pin doesn't connect. He zips into the back line instead. And now Uno, pressured out by the Reinhardt, will go down very quickly if they're not too careful. Manchild comes back in, looking for the Mei wall to separate out one target. Going to find the Lucio, can't quite connect with the freeze and the slow, and instead Centurions are going to hold on to the point for now. They've just got to get rid of the Mei. Oh, we've got the Immortality field back on the point. That's going to be a desperate attempt at holding on to that from Neko. And that went 100 to 86. Rams were very close to holding on to that.
Oh, wow. That last fight was all over the place. I thought the Rams had a chance because they kept their Reinhardt up. They had all of the space. They had the man advantage. But the Centurions just played it smarter. And I've got to say, I don't like pinpointing the blame, but Manchild took a long time for that wall, and as he was looking for it, as he was trying to find the perfect wall, his team was dropping like flies. And you've got to think, if he'd have thrown it in, rather than trying to find the exact wall he needed, maybe we would have been seeing a different story. But heading over to University, it's another map where King can use that high ground, use that off angle with the Doomfist. And
is that happening? They do have the speed advantage. They've got the Lucio where Rams don't. They can get this turret up into position.
And running the Arista as well, so they want to work around it. It's not just like they're trying to play it. They're not playing the high ground, which is interesting.
So it's a little bit CV-ish.
This is also going to be very good for King, who's going to be coming from just behind them.
They're going to go for the rotation through the side room, through the mini health pack. King looking for value, can't find anything just yet. In very real danger here of getting taken out. Oh, Outlaw almost taken out there by King. Lack at 53% and climbing, firing hammer strikes basically into an Immortality field. King gets the first kill, and again, a really trady fight. Outlaw with the turret will find King. Big charge coming through. It finds Manchild from downtown.
Still only 3 for 4 picks, though. It does look like the Rams are finally going to back off. King making the swap to a Junkrat, so seeing that the double shields, maybe wanting to spam it out. Maybe we're going to see Manchild make a swap to another spam pick. I'd imagine not. He's already out of spawn now. But Northline building up to that Shadow, but Lack outperforming him massively by about 20%. Outlaw also nearly has the Molten Core as well, which is going to be massive. But the Rams were just trying to play on the point.
Nothing out of that Fire Strike from Northline for now. And they're playing the slow and steady, rotating through the mini health pack room. Manchild desperately looking to freeze the Swede, can't quite manage it. Northline managing to take out the turret is a big opportunity now. Mauled out by the Mei wall, looking for something to do with this Shadow, but is going to be coming into 2 shields. Outlaw has the turret, has the Molten Core. In goes the goo. No kills though. Will stuff up the choke somewhat. Kozel able to find Northline as well. They're just going to wait out that goo. Centurions still in control for now, but they only have 3 on the point. The Maywall will buy them a little bit of time, but they've not really closed the distance to try and deal with Volio yet. Volio able to rotate through the mini health pack room and take them out, and Lack caught there in that Junkrat trap. But whilst that was happening, in comes Nartha Lion with the sneaky shadow behind, but it's not erupted into that fountain of kills we were really looking for. Instead, Centurions really in charge here. 3/4 of the point captured. They've just got to hold on for a scant 25 and they will eke out the series.
But they did use a lot of ultimates. They only have the male, the Blizzard, should I say.
Oh, only the male. That's fine.
Yeah, only the male. Actually, that's a fair point. They have to play on the point right now. Well, the Manchild's going to find that Batiste as well. Ruby Fox is going to have to perfectly time the sound barrier. And look at the ults the Rams have.
Well, Manchild with the yeet from downtown throws in the Blizzard. Oh, the sound barrier interrupted any value from that Riptire. Outlaw finds King. In comes the Graviton Surge. And Rams almost eking this out here. Uno able to get next. Manchild finds Uno though. They may just be able to keep this going because it is Rams alive on the point for now. There's going to be the Reinhardt desperately looking for value, coming up against 3 other targets. Legs back in play. Wrecking Ball coming back in, but no, opting not to go for the pile driver, realizing when a fight is lost.
That was close as well, because Northline actually got booped into the pit, and the Centurions had the men on point to try and win that out, but the 3 players remaining for the Rams on point, just edging it out. Northline now going to have the Shadow as well, but Lack matching that, and the Amplification Matrix is also on the table, so the squishies on the side of the Rams have got to be careful of that pull Fire Strike combo.
I'm amazed Outlaw is sticking with the Tourbillon here. It's a lot harder to do anything with once you're in that attacking position. Nartha Lion has the Shadow ready to go. Maywall hasn't quite separated out the tanks. It certainly stuffed them up. The Shatter comes out with a counter Shatter on the board, and kills starting to rack up now for the Rams. They're going to hold on to this for now.
Beautiful there, recognizing that Lack would want to charge in there, and just perfectly timing his Shatter around the corner. I've attempted a few of those.
Oh no.
Trying to charge it through. This is going to be a big stagger as well.
It is, and it doesn't really matter what damage Outlaw did there because he already had the ults.
Good awareness of the ult economy there. And now the Rams are slowly starting to build some up. They're building. They have that Blizzard. They have just the Blizzard on the table, but they're going to be having the Amplification Matrix coming up. They're going to have that Coalescence as well. And the Centurions only have the Molten Core, which now that they don't have to play on the point for the Rams, is not going to find as much value unless they can hit a massive pull from Todd.
Oh, well, in comes the Blizzard. It's got them all stuffed up during the rotation. They can afford the cheeky rotation, take all the time in the world to secure the kills. Oh, they will lose King, but honestly, at this point, who really minds?
One ult, one fight, no charge for the Centurions whatsoever. Kuzzle is approaching the Amplification Matrix, but he has to do even more healing and a fair amount of damage. They end up using the Coalescence a bit later as well, which is not ideal, but they are going to have some good tools to push the aggression as well. They're going to have that Amplification Matrix, which, considering they only have the Molten Core, is not that bad for the Rams right now.
No, we really need to see the mother of all goop sprays here for this to really get the value it needs to get. A combo with the Hulk could be particularly impactful. Out goes the goo. It's a wide covering, and it has forced the Rams off the point for now. Outlaw not able to find anything just yet, though. King and Rodeo are getting 2. The freeze is on the board. The Amplification Matrix is up for both teams, and it's going to be Rams in the kill feed. Desperately here for Uno, trying to keep themselves in the fight, but there's only so much you can do against a full team. We're going to go the distance, everybody. We're going to go to a final map to decide this series.
Fantastic positioning from Manchild there, playing in that little cove underneath where they were dropping from. Knew they were taking the rotation, stands underneath, plays it patiently, and as they're dropping, they don't turn around to stop the Mei from freezing their team. All of them are frozen up. Easy pickings for King on that Reaper, and the rest of his team as well. But Rams played that very well, especially considering how close they were to losing the series with a sweep.
They flipped that over at 99-0. I do like this pick from Outlaw a lot more. I feel like that last round was Outlaw going, no, guys, I'm great at Torb. I'm the best Torb in the world. I can make this work, and then sticking on it for way too long.
Outlander Rain Defran vibes getting from that pick there. This is interesting, though. Both teams now opting for the Rein Zari. We haven't seen that hard matchup since map 1. King going to play the Hanzo, though, and that's the interesting thing here. He outranges Outlaw, but Outlaw's going to be putting a lot more pressure on North Alliance. So it'll be an interesting matchup to see how these teams play around the differences.
We've got to see King take the high ground, or at least take an off angle so they can get some of the damage in here. They are going to be playing from behind up on the high ground. Has identified a target, manages to find the headshot and takes Outlaw out of the fight. And now they can focus on backline and shield pressure. Uncontested around there. Lack able to get in and force them round, but with that leap on such a quick cooldown, he can get out of trouble so quickly. But Todd Leaf going down to Neko there is maybe just what you want to round up that fight. And Northernlion's going to be coming in with the charge. And this is a one fight for the Rams, frankly. Centurions just need to back out and get away from it.
Once you lose your McCree, what a fire strike and what great follow-up as well. But that's going to get him a load of ult charge. And
King has the ult.
King has his Dragon Strike ready. He can stop this at either choke they go to. At the very least, force out resources early. But that was so poor from Outlaw. That was just a great punish from King. Outlaw tries to find the off angle, tries to find a greedy flash. He's punished for it, and you just lose all frontline pressure straight away.
And it looks to me like they're not tracking that King might have the ultimate here, because they're all coming in together through the opening wall. Oh, Todd Leaf is going to get anxiety. Lack's going to find Neko. There is no healing on the board for Rams. This is a big opening now for the Centurions. Out comes the Dragon. Is going to take Ruby Fox off the table, and now King is going to pressure down that shield. Gets in for the palm strike. Can't find it. Todd Leaf looks for the charge pin. Can't find anything. Instead is going to get taken down. Instead, Rams still just about in control here, but it's going to be Outlaws up against Volio, and Volio has no health to speak of.
That fight was back and forth, back and forth. I didn't know who was going to win it. Northline throwing in the shadow pretty late there as well, so not going to have a chance to build back up to it, but Volio is going to have the grab, so he will have a chance to swing into it. On the Centurion side, though, a lot of check marks are sitting there and not much for the Rams to really answer them with.
Well, Outlaw is finally getting close to that High Noon, but we know that High Noon, unless you can get it in just the right position, is not all that impactful. So he's got to be really clever with how he plays this, or just use it to force that reload.
He is just going to have to use it because he's on the defense right now, but that's an interesting Amp Matrix.
Oh, Amp Matrix comes out. Immortality Field comes out as well, but with that choke stuffed up by the Maywall, they can't really find a lot of value. Graviton Surge comes out from Volio first, from Lack as well. There's Outlaw with the High Noon looking for something. We'll find one Manshell taken down. That's great value from it. Does a lot of damage over onto Northern as well. Outlaw is able to secure the chase and the kill onto Northern. We are now at level pegging for control of the point. Centurions just taking the lead, and unfortunately, Todd, that credit is going to go over to... Todd is going to get the credit for the kill onto Volio, despite Volio looking for the tactical reset.
The Rams used all of their ultimates, though. They lost that fight. They used all of their ultimates. The Centurions still have tools to work with. The biggest question mark for me, where did that amplification matrix go? It went to the opposite side of the point to the rest of the Rams. I don't know what happened there, maybe just a misplay. But now, Todd is going to have a chance to stuff this with a shatter as well, and the amp matrix is there as well should they need the additional follow-up.
Well, Northern with that fire strike got that a little bit closer to his shatter here, and I feel like Northern's had the better shatters so far in this matchup. Well, Maywall's going to stuff them out. Looks like it's not... Look, it has... No, it's not quite split the team. King's going to go for a big charge punch in. Can't find anything. Northern about to close in on the shatter. Todd has the first one, but most of it goes into the shield, and the counter shatter from Todd is even better. But King is able to find Uno. Northern still on the point and swinging away. Ryan on Ryan violence, and a Gravitic Surge from Lack. Locks them all up. It's Lack with the 4K as we hit 99.46. Outlaw to round things out with the Deadeye, and we are going to see it go. Eventually, 3-2 for the Centurions on the opening week of Belong Arena Clash.
That was an incredible performance, specifically in the final fight from Lack there. He got the grab online, he gets all the kills on the grab, but before that, it wasn't a shield that blocked Northline's shatter. Lack just walks into it with a personal bubble. He had he didn't have his projected bubble. He didn't have shield because he was frozen up. Lack recognizes that, sees the shatter coming, and just walks in front of his team, blocks all members from getting stunned. Incredible.
We said going into this that this is not a high SR game, but it is possibly the closer of our two games this evening, and it really could not have been a lot closer than that. What an opener to this season of Belong Arena Clash, frankly.
I feel like this match is just... Hopefully, I'm hoping this is the case, that this is what we're going to see a lot of this season.
Yeah,
we're going to see a
lot
lot more...
The bar has been set and it's high.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more of these chaotic matches between these lower teams, because while they might not have, as much to play for in terms of seeding, like we say, maybe if they get a chance with an upset, but more about the sorts of just these matches where it's just like they have nothing to lose. That's the big thing. They can throw everything out there.
They can just come in and have fun.
Yeah, and that's what that was. That was a very fun game, I can imagine, to play. It was a very fun match to watch.
It really was. Well, we have exactly one more match coming up to you. I'm just so mentally drained from trying to cast that. We have one more match coming up for you, but we're going to throw to a very quick break. Don't go too far because we will be right back.
Honestly, I could get used to this. My mind, in a wave of you, swept me up like the ocean blue. Can't lie, gotta face the truth. I'm falling harder than I wanted to, and they say don't go diving in too deep, but I'm already diving in so carelessly. Your tide is getting high.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Belong Arena Clash Overwatch opening night. We're getting ready to take you into match number 2, which is going to be Pirates up against Claymores. Now, Pirates are a team that, if you were to pick up the Arena Clash trophy and turn it around, you will see their name on the back, but it's been a little bit of a while since we've seen them really achieve dizzying heights of greatness, but they are in consideration for one of the best teams in Overwatch Arena Clash this season.
We've been saying, especially last season as well, like we mentioned that there are teams that we think could take down the Spartans. Could this be the season that they finally get taken down? I think, again, I'm going to put that out there and say I think this season the Pirates could be that team, especially with what we mentioned at the start of the broadcast about, you know, Spartans taking a little bit of a hit in their flex DPS role. Could this be where the Pirates decide to come in? They take, you know, they target that big weakness in their roster. Well, weakness, we don't know yet. But and with this new reinvigorated roster with a lot of old faces coming back in from around that time.
Padshak is not going to appreciate being called old.
Maybe we have a little bit of different meanings behind that, but yeah, a lot of the players that were around the time where when the Pirates won out Arena Clash in previous years or previous seasons, I think it's probably better.
In the previous years at this point. This time last year, coming into Arena Clash, this is my 1-year anniversary of Arena Clash, by the way, so I didn't bring any poppers, but thank you very much. As I was coming into this last year, we were at the point of the Spartans flipping over the championship from Cardiff Saints. So it's been over a year since the Pirates have had their name on that trophy, and the exact time I'd struggle to tell you any further than that, frankly. But, you know, to see them back with this new invigorated roster, I think is a really great sign of things to come. And they don't have the strongest of opponents coming up in this next match, which is no shade on the team themselves. It's unfortunate in such a geographically heavy competition such as this, you can just look into getting a lot of really good players in one area or having very few good players in that area.
I mean, we do see that example with the Spartans, for example.
Exactly.
So many of their players just come from the surrounding area, just have this almost coincidence level of you know, geographical fortune. Same with the Pirates. They've had, you know, very good fortune with the players that are in that area. Some of their players going on to doing things like being at Brute, being in the 12-man for Team UK last season.
Indeed.
Or last year, should I say. So, you know, a lot of these players are showing they have a lot of that talent. As much as, you know, we've kind of mentioned it already, but I think a lot of our community are going to be very happy to see Padshak back in the mix as well.
Indeed. Padshak, with the exception of last season, I can't remember if he was in the season before, has been in pretty much every season of Arena Clash. He took a step back last season for personal reasons, but he's a well-known and very charismatic player.
Well-loved.
Well-loved. He's played a lot of roles. He was unfortunately stuck in brick jail during GOATS. I think this is me sort of dredging up into memories and conversations with the Arena Clash community. Used to be something of a Sombra one-trick, and I have seen him play Sombra in Arena Clash. I think he's moved on since then. He now has quite a wide and flexible hero pool. So we're glad to have him back and look forward to seeing what he's got to show us this time.
And we mentioned that this is likely going to be quite a heavily weighted matchup towards the Pirates, but the Claymores do have a few tools at their disposal. They have a very high-ranked player. I believe his name was it Ramranch?
Ramranch, who has in fact been in Arena Clash for a long while now. He's a name that I've run into a few times again because of where he's geographically located. His team never one of the stronger of the teams we've got. It tends to be, and I'm dipping into my sort of social commentary side here, capital cities and or really big university towns that really have that big pool of players to count on for this. So, you know, you do see a little bit of weighting in that way. So, yeah, unfortunate to not be in one of those towns. But Ramranch still has a lot of potential for this team. We're unlikely to see it have the same impact that we had in previous seasons where we talk about Yamba coming in and helping carry the Rams up to a win. But, you know, still a player to watch in this.
I mean, our previous years, the Rams didn't seem to need Yamba to at least put up a fight.
No. This certainly up against a team of roughly the same caliber, they put up a heck of a fight.
Yeah. But heading back to this matchup, like we say, what we're more looking for in this matchup is what we said so many times last season. If you can't perform against the weaker teams, you're not going to have a good showing against those stronger teams. So can the Pirates keep their heads on? Can they, you know, maybe not like mess about? Can they keep it focused, keep it strong, and, you know, win out the series convincingly so that when we do head to the harder matchups, if they do end up facing against the Spartans, that's when we're going to start to see that they can perform. They can go toe-to-toe with the best in the season so far.
That's right. Spartans will be our returning defending champion this series, but as Yokai mentioned, we are missing that big charismatic flex DPS player that we've had in previous seasons. Kotanks has moved to another part of the country altogether. We were maybe wondering if we'd see him crop up in the Bristol scene. We've not quite seen him materialise there yet. Chico is returning to the Enigmas this season, opting not to travel in to play at the Spartans Arena week after week after week after week. And so it's a little bit hard for us to say whether Spartans are going to be the force they previously were without that key cornerstone of their playstyle. I have a lot of faith in the arena and the arena staff. They've got a very good culture there. They are bound to find somebody that can fill that role, but they might not be the weighty champions that we had in previous seasons.
Especially considering how heavy, previous metas, and even this meta to an extent, needs a good flex DPS player. But this is more just talking off of speculation, because the biggest reason we're saying there's a weakness there is because, in the past we've known who Kotanks is. We've known who Chico is from the open division scene. I believe his name is Dave Hardcore, who's coming for the Spartans. Less of a known name, so we don't really have a play style or a play level to associate with it. So naturally, considering the level of Kotanks, the level of Chico, they're big shoes to fill, which is why we're saying it is a step down.
And if you're joining us just now, please bear with us. We've got a little bit of a technical hiccup in the background. We're working on that. We should have a response to you soon. And that's actually around a mistake we made earlier in the broadcast. The groups that we showed you previously are not, in fact, the up-to-date and correct groups. So we are going to have a bit of a recap as to what the actual groups are. We're just working on bringing that to you now, but obviously all this stuff in the background takes a little while to sort out. And if you missed the first half of this evening, be sure to go back and watch that match, because it is a heck of an opening for Overwatch Arena Clash this season. Centurions up against Rams, right down to the wire, down to...
Point 3.
Down to point 3 on Oasis on the final map 5.
I think it was 99. Well, no, it wasn't 99.99. It was
I think it was
99,
like 50, something like that. But it's still really incredibly close. And the Rams with a massive turnaround on maps 3 and 4 that, based on their performance on maps 1 and 2, nobody was expecting.
I mean, you saw me here, Phil. People at home won't have seen me, but my head was on the desk. I can't believe what's happening. What's going on? Why are we staggering in here? Why are we making these swaps? It was hard to believe what I was watching, and it's really, it was an incredible series to watch, and probably one of the better series I've actually watched for a long time.
Okay, I've just been given the word that we're actually having the... okay, no, sorry, scrap that. An update to the update. Hopefully, we're getting these... getting these to you shortly. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Look, we've got the group stage. It's ready to come to you now. Here we go, everybody. Finally with you, the group actions you were looking for. So, yeah, this is a much altered group, although I don't think it changes who comes out of Group 1. Bears, our new arena, Harriers and Spectres, in terms of raw SR, a long way behind Saints and Spartans.
Yeah, we did mention before that they are likely going to be the two teams coming out of that group. And in the second group...
Well, this again probably doesn't... No, actually, this does change who comes out of this group stage. We have seen Rams and Centurions play. Enigma's the other lower-ranking group in team in this set. Vikings, newly invigorated. Steelers, taking a bit of a step down from last season, but that's who we'd expect to come out of this group stage.
I'd say the Vikings are a shoo-in for this group, but the Steelers is where I think it's going to be the wild card, per se. Because we mentioned that we have these three other teams, and the Centurions and the Rams have shown us they can go toe-to-toe with each other. If they go against the Steelers... With that, that weaker core, that core kind of vanishing, if you will, they do still have the tank line and the DPS line, but that could well, open them up to a little bit of exploitation to maybe an upset throughout the season.
I feel like losing Flabberjack in particular for the Steelers was a big part of it. If you go back and watch the finals, you can hear just what an impact Flabberjack has.
You can hear him.
You can actually hear Flabberjack through our microphones, shouting encouragement, shouting positions, being that in-game leader that he's become known for. Okay, unfortunately, that's all the groups we're going to get to see for now. We've just been given another technical hitch here. Unfortunately, that's crashed. I think, hang on, we're going to get a little bit of a shot of our producer just coming into the side. There are the beautiful hands of Dom. Let's have a look at our group stages, guys. So apologies while we read off this. Right, Group A. So we have seen Group A. We have seen Group B. Let's have a look. Group C is going to be Smugglers, Kestrels, Invincibles, Lionhearts, Nighthawks. So looking at just the raw SR values for these teams, Smugglers and Lionheart seem like they're showing here they are the top ranked in this group based on seeding and also based on what we've seen from them in previous series.
And we've seen time and time again, the Lionhearts are just so consistent. They bring back very similar rosters season after season, and they do very well. Like we've mentioned, they're quite consistent semi-finalists, quarter-finalists at the very least. And the Smugglers, in particular, I'd be looking at their tank line. Their tank line has a lot of talent on it, but the roster in general has a lot of bright sparks throughout. So definitely someone to watch out for. Is a bit of a wild card this season.
Lionhearts, of course, also playing in a newly revamped arena, the Oxford Street Arena, big 100-seater. Certainly a grandiose place to be playing. Moving on to Group D. So this is going to be I believe our next match coming up. We've got Guardians Hunters, Claymores Pirates, and Leviathans in this matchup, and I think we've spoken at length about the potential to come out of this group already. Pirates looking very strong and poised here to be potentially contenders at the grand finals.
And this is without bias for a change for me, but I definitely think that the other shoo-in for this group is going to be the...
There we go. So just got to chuck the laptop back over to our producer.
But yeah, I do think it is going to be the Guardians coming out of that group as well. We've seen they can look very strong. They've come up with a very similar roster this season that they did last season, which took them to the semi-finals and very nearly took them to the finals in that incredible 5-map series against the eventual runners-up, the Steelers.
That was quite the series. We did see an awful lot of the Steelers on stream. I think we saw them maybe six times over the course of last season. The aim with Arena Clash is that we give all of the arenas a chance to be on stream, and it just worked out that the most efficient way to do that was just to show the Steelers every week. I don't know quite how that works out, but it is what it is.
I think the reason that that was in the playoffs is because we've seen the Spartans time and time again. We wanted to kind of avoid them as we were heading through the playoff bracket.
Saw them once before finals.
Yeah, which was semi-finals?
Semi-finals.
Yep. So that was mainly why it was that was the case, because once we hit into playoffs, that was the main route to go down. But regardless, I don't think we're going to see them as much. I think they might have... I don't think they'll struggle to get out of groups. They'll have that's a difficult enough time, I think is the best way to word it. But regardless... A lot of groups of death this year. Very few chances for upsets, I'd say, in these groups because just of how strong these rosters have become this season.
It should be one of the most competitive seasons of Arena Clash so far, and I do believe we are ready to queue up into our next game. Technical difficulties all ironed out, and here we go into our first map between Pirates and Claymores.
Of course, heading back to Busan now, and
why is Padshak on the Reinhardt?
Maybe a little bit of BM coming out here.
Possibly.
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see if that is actually a strategy or whatever. But the rest of this composition is not surprising to me. This is exactly what the meta has been throughout Overwatch League opening weekend and in scrim environments since that matchup. On the Claymores side, this is what we would have expected 2 to 3 days ago, right before the opening weekend, just because of the lack of that honor, and that completely shifts the playstyle. Claymores want to brawl, Pirates want to play at a bit more poking range.
Well, let's see who wins out as they start to close the distance. Dum-Dum up front, now going hammer to hammer with Padshak. Eek with the rotation. It's going to be the first kill going over to Disclosure. Eek still looking for value, but has to back away from the incoming aggression from Padshak here. I don't want to be you. I'm not going to call him Irubu this season, as long as I can help that. I don't want to be you on the high ground. With the McCree, able to just get these dinks in. Will find Adam Taurus. D-Mec's going to come through onto Jam Jam. But now Pirates are definitely in charge at the point for now. Eek still alive, trying to eke out the win. Will get the kill, gets the D-Mec pile of one. And Belong A501, I believe that's somebody playing without their own account active, will get one. But it's Pirates in charge for now, and Disclosure playing over here on the high ground is currently uncontested. What a sleep! What a predict on that sleep! That was beautiful!
And he's just showing right now how much you can do on that honor.
Oh, and the pin comes through from Pad! What a set of plays!
But that honor just can do so much, getting the opening pick with the nade, putting down so much healing, building that nano boost already, and getting these clutch sleeps as well.
And Padshak's going to have the shatter. It's a Pad shatter, everybody! Oh, but he can't complete the pin. The wall comes up just in time to protect the rest of the team. Dom takes a lot of damage trying to keep that up, but they are going to have the nano boost. It's going to come out already, and it's gone through onto Padshak. The nano boosted Fire Strike taking Eek out of the fight, and Claymores backing away. Oh, Kami piled on by Padshak. They're going to see Claymores desperately trying to give up ground and get the reset. Oh no! We saw Dom separated out by the wall. He will have Long Glass there ready to keep them up through that. But they're going to go through the rotation onto the low ground here. and hope they can get the drop on Pirates.
And they are going to get this drop, actually. They're going to try and catch them at the choke, although the Pirates make it to point.
Oh, well, there's the Blizzard and the High Noon from I Don't Want to Be You. Oh, the Ice Block interrupts it. Instead, we're going to see I Don't Want to Be You desperately trying to get Eek. Sound barrier into the Blizzard, and Belong Glass with a huge amount of charge here, right up into the hundreds. There's going to be the self-destruct. Eek gets the 4K. Jam's going to get taken out by the self-destruct. But if you are the Claymores coming out of that with the 4K from the Reaper, you've got to be pretty happy.
They made it to point, and that charge on the Zarya was so good. They build up that grab, and they get the kill on I Don't Want to Beat You, who maybe overextended a bit into the enemy engagement route. But this is going to be great for stuffing this choke, whether they want to use it to build a Shadow or what.
Oh, well, there's the grab. Shadow coming through. The Reinhardt not able to connect too much damage. Shadow comes out, doesn't get a huge amount either, but the Nano Boost is now there on Padshak, keeping them up through a lot of that incoming damage. Still in critical condition here. Has to throw in the Biotic Grenade just to help keep Padshak alive through that. In the meantime, Eek's going to find I Don't Want to Be You. Jam, using up all their abilities, has to now dodge out, get back to the protection of their team, gets demech. This has been a great hold here from the Claymores.
They're just playing so well around this choke, putting damage down, not allowing them through without investing. And even when they are investing, they're just matching what they're doing. No ultimates on the board because they've completely neutralized what has actually been used. Claymores coming up on that sound barrier close enough, about 70%. Should probably get that in the next fight with some decent healing. And Eek is very near that dragon, which if they can keep the defense up, would be great for that choke point.
Lukey Boy on the Mei, closing in on a Blizzard. Ooh! Dapper with a little help from the Biotic Grenade takes Kami out of the fight, and that's a big advantage now for Pirates. There comes the Shatter, though, from Dom Dom. Puts one on the ground. Sound barrier comes out from Dapper to keep them up through that as well. And now it's Jam on the high ground, pressuring out Dom Dom. They lose. Ooh! They managed to get the dragon out. The sound barrier comes out to keep Claymores alive through that. Adam Taurus will have the Coalescence ready to go, but it's going to be Lukey Boy taking Dom Dom out of the fight first, which does a lot of the heavy lifting for the team. Lukey Boy able to get Dom Dom, and this might be where we see Pirates flip this back over. Big Nade's going to take Eek out of the fight with a bit of help there from Jam. And at 97%, we're going to see the Pirates eventually flip that back over. And Jam got credit for that one with a booster.
As much as the Pirates are approaching Final Fight territory themselves, the Claymores got it up to 97%. They are in the driver's seat right now, and they're building up the ultimates to do it. I Don't Want to Be You still miles away from that Death Blossom unless they can get the fight started. Padshak probably going to get up to the Shadow, but he needs it now.
Oh no, and there's the Blizzard, and the Graviton Surge locks them up into the Blizzard. Padshak might get the Shadow off, but he's lost a lot of his damage, and Claymores flip that back. But what a Pad Shatter on the back of that. Adam Taurus now has the Coalescence, looking for targets. Nothing you can do with the Defense Matrix, especially when you're frozen out. And D-Mex wants to get the kill onto Padshak. Padshak's going to get frozen and taken down. And this has been beautifully played by the Claymores. What a boot! It's not enough to save them as the kill connects onto Ram Ranch. No!
Boostio!
The Pirates have done this. They are about to flip this back over. Dapper taken back down. They've still got the contest going. It is just going to be Lukey Boy now on the Tracer, desperately ducking and diving to keep that going. Padshak comes into the Wrecking Ball, managed to get one kill onto Eek. Lukey Boy finds Dom Dom, and it seems like we're going to get the capture going. And Ram Ranch tags back in to keep the contest going, but Lukey Boy's able to find Belong Glass, now at 50% to the pulse bomb. Wants to get the Lucio as they come back in. They've done it. They've guarded their way into the point flip. 98%. It looked like it was the Claymore's fight to take. And if they can get these final few kills on the board, it's going to be the overtime cap and the overtime win for Pirates.
How have they pulled this back? Such great target focus and such fantastic stall potential coming out from them.
I Don't Want to Be You has come back in of the Doomfist. Claymores do not want to let this go. They're doing such a great job of keeping this contest going. But Dapper and I Don't Want to Be You getting two, and then a third, taking Belong Glass out as well. The DPS lineup for this team have done so well, but they got the sound barrier off Ram Ranch, able to keep that going just that little bit longer. The Blizzard now on the field from Claymores. It freezes up Padshak. Jam has herself ready to go. Dom Dom taken down. Ram Ranch taken down. Lukey Boy on a tear. And the Pirates had to work so hard for that.
Claymores are really making them work for this. We said that it should be a pretty weighted series, but that's not what I expected when we said that. Claymore's coming out fighting right now and not really giving the Pirates an inch at all.
Look, if I had to take some guesses here, these are not the roles we're used to seeing from the Pirates. I don't want to be you. Previously played off-tank, Padjack, previously DPS. I think there was a little bit of a...
I don't want to be you was playing DPS last season.
Was he?
Yeah.
Huh. I think I'm just thinking all the way back to Goats.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe playing the Zarya.
Possibly. Well, I don't want to be you. We're going to be coming out on the Sombra this time, looks like.
Looks like they're running a full dive comp, actually.
Interesting.
Dapper and Disclosure playing the Lucio Ana, but the rest of it, you know, an old school full dive composition with the exception of the Sombra for more utility over that Genji.
Well, gets into the back line, looking for a target. Will get out of the stealth for now. Almost secures the D-Mech onto the D.Va. Will get the D-Mech. TP's out.
Wow.
Great value already. And 40% of the way to the EMP. Hacks the health pack. Ready to go to the respawn. And with the D.Va out of the mix, Pirates are on a tear. Pushing Claymores right the way back. Oh, Kami with 1 HP and a dream. And even that taken from them.
Wow, that was a very well executed dive. I wasn't expecting that. You know, the D.Va was not very reactive there. He didn't really pay attention. I don't want to be you very focused on keeping their own Winston alive, although they're actually going to also play a dive comp here. So this is really interesting. They're actually choosing to match here.
It's interesting, but Eek not really being able to come with a dive might be a little bit problematic. Big hack there onto the D.Va, and a hacked D.Va is a big ult battery, but I don't want to be you. Overstayed his welcome there. Yeah, that's right. I almost called him Idwabu. You caught me. Oh, Eek gets chased down by the dive tanks and taken out. But Claymores are pushing right the way back. Dum-Dum with the double. Pulse Bomb comes out. Failing to find anything. Dum-Dum will have the Primal Rage here. Padjack gets focused down. This has looked great from the Claymore. It's unfortunate for Dum-Dum. They may not actually have needed that ultimate.
They may not need the ultimate, but it's a fairly redundant ultimate. You know, you get that back fairly quickly if you're cleaving a lot of people, and this is actually very good aggression as well. They're not letting them get out. They're preventing them from pushing straight back in just with that pressure. Dum-Dum may want it back, but Eek swapping onto the Pharah is going to make it so much harder.
Oh, hello! Oh. Kami went toe-to-toe there with the Sombra from I Don't Want To Be You. Has to back out a hack Tracer, typically a dead Tracer. And the EMP is ready to go. That's going to be popped any second now. And Pirates have the full bank here. They're only missing the pulse bomb. Kami throws it in. Can't find any value from it. Disclosure finds Dum-Dum. Adam Torres will have the coalescence ready to go, but you can't use that when you're hacked. I Don't Want To Be You gets focused down, though. But it kind of doesn't matter now because Pirates have the kills they need. Claymores just got brushed aside there. Taking Adam Torres out so early was such a big deal for them.
The thing I find very interesting is they want to play the Pharah here. They want to slow the game down, but when I Don't Want To Be Used playing the Sombra, who capitalizes so heavily on slow gameplay, it's really interesting that they opted for that rather than speeding up the game, forcing it to be so much faster. Oh, that's great.
That was a great, very difficult target to dive and a remarkable amount of success there. Now, Lukey Boy on the hunt with a pulse bomb. Wants to find someone's back pocket to stick it into. Almost gets the kill onto the Pharah. Pharah able to escape with one, but no, I Don't Want To Be You does find Eek. And Pirates in a position now to hold on to this. They have the sound barrier as well. Kami is going to find Padjack, but they still have the numbers advantage here. And Ram Ranch overstays their welcome, finds the train tracks, and that's got to be a reset. 89 to 38. Claymores need to touch in to keep this going, but it's not looking great for them.
The Claymores need to start counting our losses early. Eek is going to have to be the one to sacrifice himself. Actually, Dum-Dum could probably sacrifice himself for the touch, but it is going to be a sacrifice.
Yeah, last second touch. Eek not able to find it. Out comes the EMP. He's only going to find two, but it strips the sound barrier off. All of that protective work undone. And Adam Torres gets hacked out of the coalescence. In the meantime, Belongla is able to find two with that self-destruct. Here's the answering from Jam Jam, not able to find anything except a little bit of space. Rembrandt gets Lukey Boy with the melee, and Pirates opt for the reset here.
I'm surprised they won that. That was a great bomb coming in from that D.Va there. Not really having much to work with aside from the bomb itself. Not having anything to stun up the shields. Not having anything to force people into it. So, great for it. Unfortunate for Dum-Dum not being able to control that high ground, but as far as going to probably force Padjack off it as well. And
I mean, Padjack gave a huge amount of ult charge over to Eek there as well. They're about to come up on that barrage. This is going to give them so much control. Once they can ensure that the dive and the defense matrix are down, this is going to be great for Eek.
But there goes that D.Va straight away.
Unfortunate. Eek playing on the lower ground, wants for the wraparound. Dom gets hacked in the middle of the ultimate and just becomes another big 1000 HP ult battery. Eek holding on to it for that little bit too long. Lukey Boy with the swap's going to find 2. Dapper with the wrapper, and that's it. 99 to 81. It's just going to be Ram Ranch. Just going to keep that alive that little bit longer. A hacked Wrecking Ball is nothing more than ult charge for the mill.
And Eek is not even going to get to use his Rocket Barrage. Had he have maybe been holding it at a choke, getting more in a position to actually use it preemptively rather than reactively, that would have maybe found a bit more value. But overall, the Pirates did definitely, even though they were running a bit of, a questionable comp, an off-meta comp, I think we should probably refer to it as. But in general, not a bad showing from the Claymores.
No, they really did make Pirates work for that. I feel like, we looked at this on paper and went, oh yeah, of course, Pirates are like the highest ranked team in the entirety of Arena Clash. This is going to be a stomp. The fact that Claymores were able to give them so much trouble on control really bodes well for their showing over the rest of the series.
For sure, and I especially think that even though we can't actually, we don't know which of the players it is because of they're not on their own account, but whoever's on the Belong Glasgow account. That, for me, is actually being the centerpiece of this team right now. They had a great showing on the Zarya. They've had some fantastic Diva Bombs. Had some clutch plays eating as well with the defensive matrix. So, in general, they have been a great cornerstone for the team, and the team in general has played very well around it. And considering that the highest ranked player, Ram Ranch, was on the Lucio there, that for me tells him a lot about their communications. That tells me that he's a very loud player for them. Of course, we've mentioned Flabberjack a lot when we've mentioned the Steelers. That was where he played. So for me, that is also going to be playing a big part because it's the most experienced, probably the smartest game sense in terms of game sense for the players. So
good walk back.
I think, I do think that I think that that's another reason why they've had such a good showing because their most experienced player is on that loudest role.
Yeah, it's quite common for a Lucio, particularly at this level of play, to be the person that's in charge of that in-game coordination. And we will at some point stop mentioning Flabberjack, but he's kind of famous for that, for being loud, and it's quite common across a lot of teams because you have that. You have a lot of control of the high ground. You get that additional visibility. You can control where your team goes and why they need to go there.
Especially considering in this matter in particular, you're on the Lucio as well, which means you don't just control where your team goes, but you control the pace of it. You can time your amps. You can time when you want to be on healing and on speed. And in general, like you say as well about the view of the fight, you have a much better view of what's happening from the back than you do from the front. So combined, they lead to some pretty good shot callers, I'd say.
Indeed. Well, that's map 1 out of the way for this series. It's the coin flip map. It's control. And maybe once we hit a slightly more focused game mode, we're going to be moving over to assault next. I think this is where we start to see things get a little bit more difficult for the Claymores because the engagements, the way you take them, the fact that you are often trying to funnel through a very small choke, make it a lot harder to really find a lot of success. So look for Pirates to be maybe more in control of this next fight.
And one thing I'm actually looking forward to is seeing the rest of King's Row because we didn't see any more than first point of King's Row because
the
of
full
course,
shutout.
Yeah. We're not even going to King's Row.
No, where are we going?
That was a bit of a brain fart. We're heading to
Hanamura, of course. We did see all of Hanamura. Luckily, we only saw it the once. You can see this one a few times through.
6 CP.
6 CP. Hanamura again and again and again. It's going to be Pirates starting on offense here. Claymores on the defense.
Oh, if the Pirates were running right now, I'm going to be excited to see that far, but I think I've finally learned my lesson about trusting the spawn picks.
Well, you just don't do it. You just don't talk about what the offensive team are running until they're actually at least at the choke.
After about 2 years of casting Overwatch,
here we go.
I think I finally learned my lesson.
Finally. Well, Eek on the high ground got a little bit of value there.
No.
Will have reported back that I Don't Want to Be You is on the Symmetra. TP comes through. Oh, here, interesting.
Oh, Eek.
That's unfortunate. Eek got caught out. They got the equalizer. I Don't Want to Be You goes down as well. Kami gets Dapper. And who even knows what's happening here? We're just watching Kami take out the TP. Big Maywall is going to slow them down a little bit. But it's going to be Kami against most of the rest of the Pirates.
It was quite calming, that, wasn't it?
It was.
Amidst all the chaos on the point, Kami's just having a nice time. But in all seriousness,
Kami just really doesn't like teleporters. It doesn't care about the strategic value, just doesn't like them.
My team may be dead, but at least the teleport is gone.
Yeah. It's a moral victory. Take that, teleporter.
But there are ultimates on the board for the Pirates already. Disclosure doing so much healing that he already has the Coalescence. Although Dom not doing too bad on the Earth Shatter either, getting 95% there. So if they get in position, they can still stop it.
Well, that's going to be Disclosure with the opener. Disclosing the fact they have a Coalescence ready to go. Can't quite secure a kill. Oh, well, we'll find Dom, and Dom was a big part of that. They needed that Earth Shatter on board. They now don't have it, and a big displacement from Dapper. You're going to see Eek throw in the Hail Mary Dragon. He will get Dapper here. Eek themselves taken out. 2/3 of the point already gained for the Pirates, and it's a big shatter from Dom. A little bit of follow-up. Ramranch able to find Lukey Boy, and now Gem focusing down that Rhine shield, focusing down that Rhine. Got the Photon Barrier up online for I Don't Want to Be You. Allows them to play a little bit more safely, and this is kind of cleanup. They've just got to stop the recontest coming in. Ooh, big charge. Dom goes down, however. I Don't Want to Be You getting one with the turrets, and that's pretty much all they wrote. 5 minutes and 7 seconds on Hanamura as the closing time bank. It's pretty good.
That's a fast time bank. 3 minutes to take the whole map.
Yeah.
Wow, that's brutal. I think the nail in the coffin was the Photon Barrier coming through. Once that goes up, it makes it so hard to play around because the Pirates basically had the map split in half on sides they could play on. And the Claymores have to play around it because they can't shoot through it, and the Pirates can.
That means you've only got to take one step to the side to suddenly have Eek have no value in the fight anymore.
And that's another one of the reasons why we see Symmetra. We see Symmetra for the teleporters, we see her for the space control, and we see her for that incredibly impactful ultimate, which may as well just be a Transcendence, because not many people are going to die around that wall.
You've got to really power up a Bastion to get through that photon. I think it did have a little bit of a nerf a little while ago. It used to be something like 5,000. I think it's like 2,500.
I think it's 5,000 now. I think it used to be 7,000. I might be
7,000 might as well just be.
I remember it once being 7,000.
7,000 might just be like a big sheet of metal down the middle of the map. You're not getting through that.
It is I guess a reason to run Sombra though. If you EMP that wall,
yeah. You typically don't have chance though, because you see the Symmetra run where they get you to the point, they get enough ult charge, just getting kills and turret placements to have that wall for one fight on point B, and then they go, oh, it didn't work, let's play a real hero. Yeah,
Sombra wants you to play slow, Symmetra speeds up the match. It's much harder to play that Sombra around it. I don't want to beat you running a Torbjorn.
Well, look, I like what we're seeing from Claymores. You know, it's an adaptation. It's what we saw from Pirates. It worked really well for the Pirates. If they can pull this off, I can see them getting to point B.
The biggest thing for the Claymores right now, though, is getting to the point. They need to cleanly teleport here. The Pirates are going to want to stay still, stay put. If the Claymores start taking damage from this choke, it could well be too late.
We already see the Rhine Shield taking it on. Oh no, that's a beautiful wall. TP serving no purpose at all there for the Claymores. They lose Ramaranch as well. And this is still going on. This is still attempting a rotation. He gets taken out by I Don't Want to Be You. Really, if you're Claymores here, I just want to see you back out and try again.
I can understand trying to make the rotation. Dom clearly resetting there, so yeah, it looks like they are resetting. But it's not necessarily the fact they're making the rotation I'm questioning. It's the fact they're making the rotation after their Lucio died.
Yeah.
That's the big question mark for me there. But regardless, only one person ended up taking that teleporter, so I don't know what happened there, but that's what I was worried about. Will they all make it to the point? No.
It's unfortunate. And I kind of think, you know, we don't often get a chance to talk about the strategic difficulties of a Torbjorn, but like walking just across this courtyard in full view of a... Oh, hello! Oh. High ground TP. Dapper gets challenged.
I like it.
Has to throw in the Immortality field. Dom's going to take that back down again. Oh, Jam finds Dom though. Belonglaz getting in on the action. This is looking possible here for the Claymores. Lukey Boy's going to not quite find the freeze, instead going to be coming in and securing the freeze over onto the high charge Zarya, and there's going to be another one fight for the Pirates.
And this is where it starts to get very dangerous for the Claymores. You have to be looking at some swaps to make. Kami nearly has that giant photon barrier, but there's a Blizzard on the table, they nearly have the Molten Core, they're going to have that Amplification Matrix as well. Jam's Fire Strike doesn't really care about your photon barrier, so they need to start thinking about other ways to take this point, because this is not working.
I actually like this adaptation from the Belong account here. Being able to eat Molten Core or eat the Blizzard is a great piece of advantage here. Very slow at getting through that TP. Dom with the charge! I don't want to be you! That should not have happened! But here we are. Unfortunately, Dom gets punished. Kami's turrets starting to do their intended work. The Blizzard's going to secure the D-Mech. Lukey Boy looking for something to freeze, has to go into the ice block, and in the meantime, we're going to see Jam Jam go down. Kami at high charge, starting to really ramp things up for his team. What a carry from the Symmetra.
Starting a charge before the teleporter, finishing it after the teleporter. How do you react to that if you're I don't want to be you? A little bit unfortunate for him there, but very smart coming out from Dom Dom. And even if he did get separated from his team, that pick took so much of the damage from the Pirates out of the equation. The only thing to worry about is now the fact that you may only have one ultimate. The Pirates have 3.
Indeed. Well, 4 now with the Earth Shadow coming on board. Just waiting for the entire team together. I'm just trying to think mechanically how you manage that reverse pin through the teleporter. You've got to charge through it the wrong way, surely.
I believe he did do that, actually.
Yeah. Well, no! What a wall! And a big ante means that even if they'd gotten to him, Dom Dom was done in that fight. Oh, well.
On the other side, the Pirates did use an ultimate there. They used their amplification matrix. So
But you get that so fast.
You get it fast, but the Claymores can start to think about an economical push for 1 or 2. You don't have to outright match the time bank. That's gone. As long as you finish with time, you will have chances to break the point again. It's just down to actually breaking the point. Because if you don't break the point, you can't really win the map.
Well, Claymores with some tools in this next one. They've got the Blizzard, they've got the Shatter. Oh, Ramranch gets protected there by Belong with the defense matrix into the Holt. Nice presence of mind from the D.Va. TP comes up, Molten Core comes out. Where did that... Oh, right where they TP'd to. That's unfortunate. That makes it very hard to start contesting the point. They've actually done a really good job of getting out of the way of that. And the Nano Boosted Torb. The Nano Boosted Torb, the Nano Boosted Reinhardt even. It's going to be lots of value. The Blizzard came out there peak and it just didn't find anything. Ramranch with the sound barrier in what looked to be already a lost fight.
Oh, great
the Shatter comes out. Jam Jam and Padjack both down. Here's the answering Blizzard from Lukey Boy. But a lot of the Pirates are now down. They're going to struggle to capitalize on that. And Claymores are starting to get themselves in. No, they've done it. What? Pirates have just bounced the way back. It was over in a second.
There was a huge Blizzard on the point from Lukey Boy. And then I Don't Want to Be You was still alive to follow up as well, so they're going to clean this up. Maybe a misuse of that ultimate from Dapper there, but you build that up so quickly like we've said. One upside though, Karami is going to have the Photon Barrier for next fight, and he is going to go down a little.
Oh, I heard the squish on that one. That was painful.
But the Pirates use so much to take that. They are going to come up on another Molten Core. They are going to come up on another Nano Boost, and they do have the Supercharger. But the Claymores, again, are starting to build up a few tools to work with. Maybe not this fight, but next fight.
It's going to be difficult for Belong to get a huge amount of value out of this self-destruct, unless they just want to break shields, because there are Padjack and Jam Jam shields in the way of that. So it needs to be pixel perfect. Up comes the TP. Gonna instead go to the high ground. Out comes the Symmetra wall.
That's a great wall.
Yeah, it's a great wall. Nicely bisecting the point. I don't want to be you from the top rope with the Torbolt. Ramranch is going to get one. They trade out. They lose Kami here. Padjack still alive. Firing in that incredibly big magazine from the Orisa. It's very slow to find any kills. Yeah, nothing out of that self-destruct. Too many shields on the point. Immortality Field's going to come out, keep Padjack alive. And it was a good try from the Claymores. Pirates, too many abilities on the board.
The Claymores go main every fight. They need to start trying to take this high ground from the Pirates. And to be honest, they should have been doing that 2 or 3 fights ago. Because now, less than a minute, it's unlikely they even finish with time. And they needed to make that adaptation sooner. They aren't even going to have any ultimates to work with either. And considering they have the Shadow on the side of Jam Jam, and they're going up on Lukey Boy's mailed as well, this is not looking good. And even if they do take the point, it's not likely they take it with time. So, not really a second attack either.
At 5 minutes to cap point A Hanamura, you can just wait for passive ult charge. Really, this swap from Kami should have happened about 2 minutes ago. Well, Eek's closing in on a dragon. There aren't any defensive ultimates on the board. This could be a big opening for them.
Oh,
nice dive and boop from Belong. Turns around, gets the defense matrix, stop a lot of the follow-up damage coming through. Kami getting that pre-freeze. We will see the kill. Oh, Immortality Field comes up, and they're not quick enough to get out of the way of the Blizzard. The sound barrier comes out. Ram. Is that going to be enough as Kami is getting heavily focused, taken out? Eek finally comes up on the dragon, but fires it across the point, and there's nobody there to really capitalize on it. Big freeze from Lukey Boy, secures the D-Mech. There's a Molten Core on the point. We are now deep into overtime. We are starting to see kills from the Claymores, but the respawn timer here for the Pirates is so strong that they don't have to do that much to keep themselves in this, and Lukey Boy can stall this out for a heck of a long time.
Especially with Dapper just sitting back, healing on the point, and doing so much damage as well.
Well, Dum Dum finds the Lukey Boy, but it's a big strike out from Jam Jam that gets Kami, who came back into the Soldier. Padshak on the ball, and that's done on Hanamura. Pirates taking us to match point with a 2-0 in the series.
And this is exactly what we meant when we were saying that they need just that extra level of synergy, of team coordination, of target focus.
This is a nice consolation prize, though.
I mean, Kami did perform very well in the Symmetra, putting down a lot of damage, getting that beam charged up very early on as well. Look, even straight away, already fully charged. Getting a lot of value out of his walls, getting a lot of value out of his turrets. And in general, having a good performance on that hero. But that ending is what we mean when we say you need that target focus, because once the stalls start to come through, once even one person gets picked off, that's so hard to just prevent that snowball from coming back towards you. So a bit unfortunate for the Claymores, but Pirates is showing their superior target focus and teamwork.
It's one of the things that we see that separates our really highest ranking teams against our middle ranking teams is this understanding that target priority and target focus is such a big part of the game. In the lower middle ranking teams, we see everybody with their own idea of who the key target is, and usually it's the person directly under the reticle at that point in time. But understanding that actually if you all fire one bullet at one target each, that target's probably going to die. If you all fire at separate targets, you got to fire 6 times as many bullets to really secure the kill.
The way I always said it was, even if you are firing, if there's 6 people firing at one person and one person firing at 6 people.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what happens. You have one person firing at each of the 6, or you have 6 people firing at one.
Just being given word that our next map is King's Row. No surprises there. It's the same map set as our previous set of the evening. Interesting to note, we have got word, it's not coming into effect yet, but of course, those of you that follow the competitive scene are aware that the changes that are coming to Overwatch, hero pools are going to be coming a thing inside the next month or so, and I do believe Arena Clash is going to be following that, mirroring what is currently banned on the ladder.
That'll be interesting.
That should be very interesting.
That'll be very interesting. And players like I Don't Want to Be You, who has shown his prowess on a lot of different heroes today, and in previous seasons as well, and also Padshak, who's played a million different roles, they're all going to start to become very valuable players. And when you look at players who maybe are more specialized to 1 or 2 heroes, they're going to start to, I guess the way we saw on Twitter was stocks go down.
Got to keep an eye on those stunks, everybody. Hopefully loading into this next map shortly. So based on what we've seen so far, Yokai, what are we expecting from these teams?
Well, it does seem like even though we've seen the Pirates running a lot of different things, they've generally been sticking to logical compositions. And even though at the end of the day the Pirates have just been trying to throw everything at the Pirates, the Claymores have been trying to throw everything at the Pirates, like everything they have. The Pirates have still been very strong on the standard meta. We saw that on the first map, and being able to switch away from these and still look just as strong is going to be very helpful, especially when we head into the likes of hero pools and such.
Well, hopefully that was the final word from our producer that we're about to go into the map. So here's the in-game transition, everybody. And we go live to King's Row. Claymore starting out on the defense. And do you know what? I like this. It's a good thought.
I do also like this, actually. Yeah, we saw the Bastion have such a big impact in the last series as well. When, in fact, in this exact situation, well, not in this exact situation, it was on Dorado, but the Rams really resorting to it and it working very well for them. Eek trying to bring it out as well. I don't want to be you. You probably don't want to peek that.
Yeah, cheeky wave of the hand there. But this is the classic way you run this. You have the D.Va there to tag into point. Oh, good rotation out from Claymores already. They know they have to get in and reposition around that May wall. Oh no, Belong Glass takes a huge amount of damage. Oh, Immortality Field's going to come out. Padshak focused down, but we already lose the D.Va mech. Ramranch desperately trying to keep his team alive through this, but there's just too little ability to work around the May. They get frozen up. They get taken out.
Lukey Boy is so brave to walk straight into a Gatling gun and trying to get that freeze off, but he does it so well. And even though Padshak went down, he put down so much damage and created so much space with that aggression. that the Claymores just were backed into a corner, and that could be a good pick for Kami, but they have to stay alive, and it's not looking like that's going to happen.
It's not looking particularly great. Kami taken down, but very close to that Riptire, which in the right position can be a great way to reset for a team fight.
We did see that in the previous series as well, where I believe it was Centurions ran that Junkrat. I don't want to be you, Nelly, caught out by Belong Glasgow on the high ground.
He's been putting up a real showing on this Diva, actually. Real highlight for the display.
He's been trying to drag his team out of the gutter right now, and it's kind of working. They've had some very good showings with him. But watch for this nano onto likely Padshack here from Disclosure. I don't want to be you as well. They can now see everybody.
That's right. Hacks up and Dom down. Ram Ranch trying to play from the high ground, looking for headshots, but there's just too little damage coming the way of the Pirates. Eek is closing in on getting a high noon. They're suggesting they're doing some work, but it's going to be too little too late. Streets is already halfway done.
And they didn't even need to use...
Oh! Getting the shatter onto Adam Torres. It didn't secure the kill. They were able to fade out of that. Ram Ranch still alive and desperately trying to make something happen here.
But Disclosure didn't have to use a nano, so they're going to have it for this engagement. There's no way the Claymores can break this because they have no ultimate still.
That's so unfortunate. Here's going to be the Blizzard from Lukey Boy. Exactly where you want it. Over the payload. So difficult to keep the contest going through that. Eek has the high noon, but they're not really in a position to do anything with it. With so much of the team down, they're going to have to back out and wait for the whole team to get value out of that ultimate.
I don't want to be you. It's going to go down, but that's nowhere near enough.
Self-destruct thrown in from Belong Glass. It gets the D-Mech, but it's just not enough.
And again, we see in the backline that Diva just trying his best to get some value, taking out I Don't Want to Be You, but it's not enough. It's too little too late. The Claymores, though, are finally coming online with some ultimates. They nearly have a Blizzard as well, and not so far from the Shadow, but Padshack is already lapping Dom on that
Really
ultimate.
unfortunate, but it's... Ooh, did the Maywall stuff up herself? No, it was just the flight on the Diva. Well, Eek's going to be coming for a rotation up onto the high ground behind them, hoping to make something big. Oh, they find Padshack. They get the stun onto the Diva, but the Diva's able to escape. This is great for the Claymores. They're pushing right the way back up. They're getting the kills they need to retake this. This is going to be the first proper hold we've seen from them since point A.
And this is good as well because they're not having to use ultimates. Because they picked up Padshack so early, the Pirates couldn't even build up any ult charge. And now Eek has the map to himself to take this off angle. Kami's going to freeze up the Diva. This is great for him right now.
This is really good. I'm waiting for this high noon from Eek because I've got to assume they don't know he's up there. Eek with a high noon. Popping his head, looking for where they are. He's behind them. He's got them in his sights. It's only going to get one, but it does enough damage for Dum Dum to get the kill onto Padshack. The Nano Boost goes on to Jam Jam, who is desperate to get the kill onto Eek, but Eek retreats to the safety of the Rhine Shield. Jam Jam has a self-destruct here as well, ready to go, gets into the backline, is low on health, needs a bit of support to keep them in this fight. Out comes the Blizzard. Are we going to see this comboed with the self-destruct? We're going to see Jam Jam going toe-to-toe there with Glazo 6, and they are still holding on to this self-destruct. Ram Ranch is going to get Lukey Boy, but the sound barrier comes out to equalize them in that fight. 1-8 from Jam Jam. No Blizzard there for Kami. Self-destruct, trades for self-destruct. Jam Jam gets one. Belong Glass gets one. And they stalemate on that fight. Dum Dum gets Dapper here. Pirates starting to stall out a bit.
And they're burning time off the clock. The more this happens, this is great for the Claymores. Even if these fights aren't outright fight wins, for them, a neutral fight that is not going anywhere, it's still burning time off the clock, getting them a lower time bank on the side of the Pirates. I don't want to be you with the swap with Slim McCree finally nearing his own Deadeye, matching Eek on ult charge.
Well, there comes the Shatter. It's going to put 2 on the ground. Disclosure will have the Coalescence here. Out it comes. And Claymores have no option but to go for the counter. Adam Torres with the Coalescence. And a massive Shatter from Padshack. I don't want to be you with the follow-up, and the Deadeye is going to take Dum Dum down. Ram Ranch getting out of dodge, but being followed by a hungry Diva.
I'm not so sure you use that Deadeye if you're I Don't Want to Be You there, though. Because that Shadow should theoretically clean up the entire fight. But they use an extra ultimate.
Eek has the high noon ready to go, but he is deep in enemy territory, and Pirates are continuing their push there on the home stretch.
That pick is huge, though, and look at the ult as well. Eek is going to have the Deadeye, and there's nothing for the Pirates just yet.
They've got the self-destruct. They've got to make something happen with it. Looks like... Oh, no, it wasn't the self-destruct. It was the remake. My bad. Padshack takes Kami out of the fight first. So, freeze advantage going over to Pirates. Lukey Boy closing in on the Blizzard. The D-Mech comes through onto Belong. The charge pin. The primary fire onto Ramranch. Here's the Blizzard over the point. Hard to recontest through that. We have got the May on point, stalling things out. Cammy desperately trying to make something work with that. Sadly taken out at the last second. There's going to be a 2-minute time bank for the Pirates.
It just felt like once the Pirates got it going again, it was I guess it was a bit smoother. The play was a bit more coordinated from the Pirates, and that's what we come to expect. We've said it many times already, but the Claymores did a good job of stalling it out. And and one thing I like is they're not trying to win out these head-on fights, because in theory, the Pirates are always going to win out the head-on fight. They have the higher ranking. They have the better team experience, with a lot of this team coming back season after season after season. Instead, they're going for these little cheeky plays. They're going for the flank high noons. They're going for these off angles with their McCree. They're going for these out there plays that may well end up in losing someone, may well end up in feeding, air quotes.
I like it because it's almost like guerrilla tactics, you know. It's like the British coming up against the Americans in the Revolutionary War, of the British like tromping along in their lines, like a really easy target for somebody up in the trees with a gun. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. Pirates still winning out, but Claymores giving it their absolute all.
I mean, my history knowledge is not actually
okay, well, look, after we're done with the cast, we'll give you a bit of a history lesson. Here, when you've lived as long as I have.
Back in my day.
When I was a lad.
But yeah, and again, the Pirates running more of this meta composition. The Ana, the McCree, the May, they seem very comfortable on it, which says good things at the very least until hero pools come into play. On the Claymore side, they're taking, looks like a page out of the Rams book.
Indeed, we saw King play the Doomfist to great effect here, of course. You're coming into a stun, you're coming into a sleep, you're coming into a freeze. It can be pretty tricky to run a Doomfist into this.
I mean, they ran a very similar, only instead of the Tifa, it was...
Oh, I don't want to be you. You shouldn't have that amount of control at this level of range. Gets up close, will get the melee kill onto Eek. And they press the advantage. Can't quite get the stun. Manages to roll out of the way of the freeze, continuing to rein in those clicks.
That just felt like I don't want to be you, got a bit frustrated.
A little bit.
Wanted to punch him, missing every shot imaginable. But he did get that pick, and that is all the important thing. Eek now swapping over to the Hanzo, so he wants to now basically play at that range that I don't want to be you was just playing at, with that advantage.
Not quite sure that wall worked out the way they would have liked it. Hasn't really separated anybody out. Too big an opening. Dom gets the stun, gets the damage, gets the fire strike. The shadow comes out from Padshak. Not sure about that one, but it went straight into a shield. Belong, with a huge amount of charge, is starting to buy some space for the team and rapidly closing in on having the Graviton ready to go.
And this is great now because they have the positioning on the point. They can just play.
Great wall.
They can just play to focus down one target at a time rather than having to win out the whole fight. But the Pirates know this and they're starting to group up.
This has been such a great play from the Claymores. Down goes the Diva. Jam taken out. Belong Glass continuing to hold on to that high Zarya charge and make it work for the Claymores.
And look at them, like a pack of wolves just surrounding the Reinhardt, not giving him anywhere to go. If you shield off the May, you take a load of damage behind you. If you shield for damage, you get frozen up and that damage is going to come back at you anyway. Great play, great awareness from the Claymores there. And even though we are seeing maybe a little bit more confidence from Padshak on the Reinhardt than we are from Dom is simultaneously not only getting, keeping his team alive a lot more, but he's actually playing the safer game and dying less.
Well, that's going to be the Graviton Surge out. Disclosure, trying to keep them alive through it. There wasn't the follow-up damage on the back of the Surge for them to really capitalize on it. Lukey Boy opens things up with the Blizzard, the Earth Shadow from Padshak, and Padshak with the follow-up damage, the Fire Strike and the Hammer Kills. Disclosure, just keeping them up through all of that.
Finally, they get rid of Belong Glasgow's charge as well, but
Padshak started that fight with a shatter, died at the end, but he died with 83% of a shatter.
I don't think Padshak did.
I thought that was Padshak shattering into the Blizzard.
I think it was Dom shattering to prevent
Well, I'm
follow-up.
impressed either way.
Padshak doing a lot of damage regardless. But Eek has also got this Dragon Strike, and considering the area they're in, this could be very good. If they can get their Zarya high charge again and get another Graviton up, that could be huge. I'm surprised they didn't wait for it though.
Well, there's the shadow from Padshak, the Blizzard over the top from Kami. Here's the Dragon, Here's the self-destruct. Ramram's going to get one. Both Reinhardts off the field. Ramranch with the sound barrier. Now trying to do something around the enemy sound barrier. It's not worked out for them just yet. Kami's going to go down to I don't want to be you. I don't want to be you. Now pressing forward, surging with the advantage. Sees them trapped up against the May wall. Throws in the stun. Gets the kill onto Adam Taurus, and Pirates retake control of the points.
Belong, though, has actually built up another grab. He was 30 to 40% at the start of that, so we mentioned that he needs to be high charge. Look at him sticking at 100 charge this whole game. The Pirates have to do something about him, or that's just going to chip at them this whole time.
Who is this ringer on the Belong Glasgow account? We got to know. Have they found? Have they got Fury and have they got Profit and just somebody? Oh, they yeet in the grab. It's going to be 2 core in it. There's no follow-up damage. The Maywall was there to keep them through. Dom will find Lukey Boy with the charge kill. Belonglass still holding on to all of this charge, chunking down that Ryan shield. Giving a bit of point presence there for Dom to close the distance. Claymores look to be surging forward through this. Pirates don't have any ultimates to clap back with. Adam Taurus has the Coalescence ready to go. Can use that to secure these final few kills and get themselves control of point B.
This is so smart. They're playing it so well. They're backing off. They're getting the initial value and then retreating, disengaging, and forcing cooldowns out of the Pirates when they really don't want to be investing. They want to be backing off. And this is so smart, so well played. This team is just playing so well around Jupiter, which we found out.
Okay, and on top of that, if this is accurate, if the SR number we have in front of us is accurate, Jupiter, playing on Belong Glass, is mid-plat. Which I don't believe.
Wow.
Playing out of his mind if that's the case. Oh, beautiful wall. Actually, no, it was a bad wall. It was the Pirates wall. It robbed any value. I don't want to be used. High noon, big freeze. Gonna follow up pad check, but Dom goes down as well. We're gonna see a dragon come in over the top, but it is Pirates with the advantage in the kill feed. Eek only able to get one out of that dragon. Pirates in control for now, so closing in on a pretty even team time bank so far. Good lord, there are a lot of words in these sentences, Yokai.
English is a hard language.
It really is.
But that was a very weird interaction. Dom thrown in the shadow, but somehow not really hitting anything. And it isn't because it was blocked, because pad check was frozen. But Jupiter is now going to have the grab online as well, and Elk used that Dragon Strike a little bit too late in that fight, so you're going to want that one back.
The defense matrix goes down, throws in the Graviton, but there's nobody there to close the distance. Again, it's another grab with no follow-up damage. Self-destruct comes in over the back from Jam, doesn't find anything. I don't want to be you closing in on another High Noon here, ready in this next fight. I don't want to be you doesn't need it, just gets the primary fire kill onto Ramranch. Jam pressing the advantage now. Claymores throw up the Maywall to allow them to evacuate the premises.
And again, the ults are just out of sync. They're not quite trying to build these combos. They're just throwing them in one at a time. I don't want to be you, though, sitting on this High Noon. So he could throw this in from the backline, just prevent any real aggression. Or he could save it for a little bit of a combo with the bomb or something.
We spotted Eek up on the high ground, but this is a beautiful bit of aggression. We're going to see Coalescence up against Coalescence with a big shatter. The High Noon goes off in the back, but it don't find a thing, and Claymores are in control of the payload for now. Pirates definitely have another go at stopping this coming through, but it looks like Claymores may cap here. Wow, they did it.
Wow.
They got the kills they needed, and that is a remarkably close time bank.
30 seconds, give or take. I thought they were going to get back on that point, and Kami needed to build that Blizzard, but no. They get it through, they get the picks off just in time, and prevent that ball from touching. Literally, I'd say millimeters from touching that.
Really, really well played from the Claymores. We came into this with them as the underdog, and they still are, but an underdog with quite a bite to them.
They have. They've come out swinging. They've come out fighting. And I've been greatly impressed from them.
All of the teams we've had today, we said, oh, well, you know, they're kind of a low-ranked team compared to some of the upper echelons that we have in Arena Clash. And I've been genuinely impressed with all of them. They've been playing so well.
Yeah, these games aren't going to be to entertain. We're going to get into the good stuff in a few weeks. Eat our words. That's what we've had to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Claymores opting to not run the defense we saw from them previously, although I have questions about this Genji pick. Sorry, I'm completely swapped around. They're on the offense. Pirates on the defense. No surprise there at all. They're running this comp. They've been running it pretty well. I don't want to be you on the Reaper. Seems like a bit of an adaptation.
A little bit, and it is also a pick that we saw him a lot on last season. He really likes that hero. Well, maybe I say like it as in he's good at it.
Sure.
Whether or not he enjoys playing it, I don't know. But we'll have to see how it works out in this Reinhardt Diva meta thing.
Okay.
The Claymores opting for the Genji. It actually looks like they're playing for the Nanoblade here.
Well, I understand that, but they've got 1 minute 15 seconds to make this work, and they know what a formidable opponent the Pirates are. This is going to take a lot of effort, and
no.
I don't want to be who just chokes into the back line, gets the sleep, gets woken up, goes back for another bite, gets the D-Mech.
That was beautiful. Straight on Adam, straight through his health pool, and just like that, half of your healing is gone. You have to back off at that point. They get the extra kills onto the rest of them as well, and
Kami gets caught out by the Wandering Orb of Doom.
They need to wait anyway because they don't have the Diva mech, and this is just time to poke. But right now, Iki doesn't want him poking. He wants to be in the backline, farming the supports. And Ramranch wants his team to be taking damage so we can get that nano boost online. They're now below 30 seconds.
This is looking pretty dicey for the Claymores. They are nowhere near any of these ultimates. Kami needs to be in the back, trying to get kills onto support lines like we saw I Don't Want to Be You manage, but he's playing at too great a range right now. Can't find the supports. Padjack throws in the Shatter. 2 down already for the Claymores. Claymores, they're going to get one more scraggly attempt at this team fight. Maybe not even that.
It's going to be tough. They've swapped over to the ball here. Dom to try and touch, but the wall's there. They're not even going to get to the point.
That's rough. Great defensive hold from the Pirates. Claymores, a good approach, just executed too slowly.
Yeah, I don't like what they did there. I really think that they, of all the things they could have pulled out of their back pocket, I think the Genji and the playing for the nano boost is not something you pull out when you only have that minute or 20 seconds, I think it was. So you need more time. You need at least 2 minutes. The Pirates, on the other hand, could absolutely go for this because they have plenty of time to poke.
Indeed, but thing to consider, 1 minute 55 seconds is not the biggest time bank in the world. Yes, it's 30 seconds more than Claymores managed, but a strong defense from the Claymores could see us go to a draw on King's Row.
The big thing I'm worried about here for the Claymores, though, is that the Pirates broke it, I believe, in the first fight.
Indeed.
They were very strong, they were very assertive, they were very aggressive and confident in that play, and that's something I feel like the Claymores have just been lacking. It's not necessarily been the actual mechanical outplay from the Pirates, it's just been Padshak specifically on the Reinhardt has had a lot more confidence to swing a little bit lower in his health pool, throw fire strikes when the enemy might have shadow. Those sorts of things are what separates, maybe a Diamond to Masters level Reinhardt player to the GM, the top 500s that we see so often. And looks like we're seeing a Symmetra.
Well, do you know what? I actually don't hate this because it gives you a nice quick route back from point, and we saw Kami do a lot of work on this in the previous map.
If you can get the beam charged up like he did on Hanamura, if you can get the turret set up in a good position to really cause a lot of problems for the Pirates, then I agree with this. But he has to find a way to get value out of the teleporter as well, because you have a team that's going to be getting full value out of their cooldowns.
And I really want to see... I was going to say Ramranch needs to be careful about throwing this down, and it went down very early, and it went offline very, very early. And Ramranch gets separated out from the main tank, has to close the distance and get up onto the high ground, trying to keep their frozen targets through. But Kami has found the first kill of the exchange. Ramranch gets caught out in the middle of the reload, which means the D-Mech is going to come through onto Jupiter. Jupiter now out of the fight. Wow. The Coalescence on board already from Disclosure. It chunks down Eek. I Don't Want to Be You taking them out of the fight. Immortality Field is going to come out, but they've lost too many, and the Immortality Field was just in the wrong place. It gets taken out. The Shatter rounds things out. The team kill bell sounds, and Pirates take us to 3-0 in the series, taking the second win of Arena Clash 2020 spring season.
And that's exactly what the Pirates wanted there. They wanted the Immortality Field out early, because you saw the second they got it out, they didn't push on it. They backed out. They played it safe. They disengaged and waited for their cooldowns to come back online, because that 30-second cooldown is a lot bigger than a 4 or 5-second cooldown on the rest of their abilities. And as another thing, you saw how quickly Disclosure got that Coalescence online. That ultimate is so powerful considering how fast you get it online, which is why we still keep seeing Moira coming back and back and back, just because Coalescence and the amount of healing she can output in general is so big.
And the fact that other than landing some sort of stun onto the Moira is the only way to get out of the way of that damage at all. You sometimes see Reinhardt's like shield hopping backwards. Like, no, you move quicker away from it. If you just move to the sides without your shield up, it does nothing to stop the Coalescence.
The dangerous thing of it as well is it not only does the damage, it supports your team at the same time. And if your team is like stacked up, that's going to get so much value. And that's why we see so many coalescents play the games, because that does a lot of healing.
It's almost like a hybrid ult between a Transcendence and a Dragon. Like, less impactful on either axis than those, but combined, surprisingly effective.
Yeah, it's a bit like a very, very overpowered Symmetra Beam.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
With a bit of healing in there.
Yeah. It's like a lot of things. Unfortunately, though, that is all we've got for today's games. I hope you've enjoyed them as much as we have. Oh, sorry, my bad. I've just been told we're not playing firstly. We are playing 4 maps, which I should have checked before I took this today. So 1 second, guys. I'll. Okay, we're just waiting to see if we're getting a sub here, and I'm gonna sink in embarrassment under the desk. That's fine. First week of the series, I was bound to make at least 1 flub.
I mean, I'm glad you're the one that made that mistake, because I probably would have had you not.
I mean, look, you were sort of on the side going like, yeah, of course, Phil's completely right here. But no, Phil was, as per usual, completely wrong.
And,
Okay, I've just been told that Claymores are subbing Adam for Waterboy in this next fight, so presumably some different strategy online. Wonder what specialist they've got coming in for this.
Ana. I'd say Ana.
Ana?
Predicting it.
Yeah, it's a reasonable predict. It's a high mechanical skill player, a high mechanical skill character that requires a high mechanical skill player. It requires a certain amount of specialization.
And we saw Adam playing a lot of the Moira, which
Indeed.
Typically, especially with Ramranch playing solely that Lucio, the only other pick I can see being viable is either Batiste or the Ana. And if you play one, you usually have at least a somewhat decent handle on the other, at least in higher ranks.
There are some real sort of mechanical overlaps in terms of, I mean, for some reason, Ana has a much stronger arm than Baptiste. That nade can go a heck of a lot further than which is weird because
I mean, the immortality field's also a lot heavier.
It is, but like if you look at how hench Baptiste it is a little bit surprising.
But you've got to think, it's a disc of metal with electronics inside of it.
It's also shaped like a frisbee, so it flies better.
Yeah, but...
And she's an old lady!
Yeah, but it's just a small container with some, I'm guessing, fluid in it.
Yeah. Well, regardless, we can come back to discussing the mechanics of different Overwatch characters' strength at a later date. Hopefully we're about to load into map, and here we go, moving into our payload map for this evening's map.
Come back to Ruining Clash next week for your Overwatch physics lesson.
That's right. I'm gonna pen a source book. We'll go through the whole thing, balancing force equations, getting it all sorted out.
I thought I'd escaped that.
No, sorry. You can do an esports course all you like at university, but I'm going to be here to teach you some physics and some history. It's what I'm here for.
Well, what we may be getting taught, anyway, moving swiftly onwards.
It's a beautiful segue.
It's how to play Torbjorn from Waterboy.
Okay, not the specialist we were looking for here, but I like this approach. You know, we're going to be running a variation on the Protect the Bastion strat.
So Kami's actually swapped over to the Batiste now. Kami going into a support role, Waterboy coming in as a DPS play.
As their Torb specialist. Just what every team needs.
Flabberjack is still here.
Indeed. Can't get away from him. Well, Ramranch just going to reposition around that May wall for now. Pirates look like they might have been caught sleeping here, although alternatively waiting for the drop down to get right on top of Ramranch. Oh, big anti onto Ram. Immortality field is still up. They can survive through this. Takes a lot of damage and backs away from the damage of the Pirates. You see both structures going down for the Claymores. Oh, Kami! Big anti, big follow-up. Pirates, they do lose Padjack. Got a little bit overconfident. Ramranch is able to get, I don't want to be you. It's not going to be enough to round that out. Pirates are going to hold the defense for now. Claymores, if they're quick, have the advantage.
Yeah, they're not even going to have... Padjack may well get back, but I don't...
They are sending Dapper.
I don't want to be you also swapping up to the Reaper, so at least the teleport is going to be there. And that extra burst damage for the Bastion as well.
That was unfortunate. Dapper went back for the taxi, and both Padjack and I don't want to be went, nah, it's fine, mate, I got this.
Dapper probably just a little bit of a sigh of, I'm not needed, am I?
These guys.
But, another thing to note, Blonglad actually on the Reinhardt as well. Didn't even notice that until just now. He nearly has the shatter on the board, but the Pirates are coming up on a lot of their ultimates as well.
Okay, but this is I like this rotation. It's not a thing we see very often. Ramranch drops down, goes for the turret form, can't find the kill, but will look to complete the rotation. Gets the big anti, gets the bigger fire strike. Rez interrupted, Pirates in control still.
still in control, and that's it.
Oh, shatter from Belong. Jupiter even, but it's just not enough. It's too little, too late. The DPS are offline. Nothing out of the shatter.
You're gonna want that one back. Padshak may want that one back as well. Just needed for cleanup.
Oh,
he's gonna get staggered.
Oh, so
Ow.
close. I hadn't noticed. Claymores have just gone for like a complete swap around as to who's playing what here.
I think we may have realised that at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Because I just realised Eek is on the Mercy as well
Yeah.
there. Lukey Boy gonna look to stuff this with that Mei though, but oh, that Fire Strike could have been very, very big. Ramage actually swapping over to the Genji. I feel like they've recognised the series is already over.
They're having fun now.
Yeah.
It's real clown hours, y'all. Jam with the self-destruct. We're able to drop that in any time. And of course, there's only the Winston bubble to defend from that, which is usually not enough. Well, out it comes. Where's it going to land?
Oh.
Right in the faces of Dum Dum and Waterboy. A 2K from the self-destruct. Padshak and Lukey Boy follow it up. And we are getting well and truly stopped at the choke for Claymores.
Yeah, they are getting absolutely... They're walking through an iron wall right now with this. The Pirates are playing this so well. And even though the Claymores are playing some out there strategy, some off-meta stuff, they are still building some ultimates. They're going to have that... oh, hello, Padshak.
Padshak found the wall.
They are going to have that Molten Core online.
Oh, Padshak able to just freely swing into the tank line of the Claymores. Can shatter. Gets the kill with a shatter. Mercy flying off to safety. So long, y'all. I'm gone.
I have visions of Eek being hit by that shatter out of midair.
I think just a little bit lower and it would have happened.
Oh, that's not a risk you want to make.
Dum-Dum.
Ooh, I don't want to be you so low.
Yeah, we did see the top goo come out. Didn't find much, but they have now moved it past the choke. In theory, it's that little bit easier.
Oh, no.
Belong Glass attempting to shake that off as much as they can. Won't find it. Gonna back out. I don't want to be you. Has the Death Blossom ready to go. May not even need it here. 8 seconds left to go. Padshak gets the Fire Strike kill. I don't want to be you. Repositions onto the high ground. Wants to drop down and get as much as they can. There's the Blizzard. Gets the primary fire kill onto Waterboy. In comes the Shatter. They're all knocked off the points. And that's going to be done and dusted. No, one last little go at a contest from the high mobility members of the Claymores, but the overtime wick is ticking down. Oh, we saw Padshak get trapped! Ryujo Ken now. That's unfortunate for Ram Ranch. Finally generating that ultimate. Didn't get a chance to shine.
That final fight was over pretty much before it began. That was a brutal stagger onto the Diva there, onto Jupiter. He got demaxed with 20 seconds left. That's not enough time to reset, sadly. And the Claymores, they threw a lot. They did well to gain the space they did with the composition they were running. The fact they was playing so many off rolls is now really making me wonder, why did the Claymore sub in Waterboy? Maybe just playtime?
Well, look, I think it's got to be playtime at this point. You know, for some people, they really want to win this. Like, Pirates, I know for a fact, really want to be in a position to go up to the grand finals. Claymores, I think they understand. They've seen the same sheets that we have that outline what their SR average is compared to our high-ranked teams. Like, let's just have a bit of fun. Let's get all the community involved. Let's get Waterboy to have a go.
Yeah, and I feel like they, as much as they did get held quite early, and they have been on the back foot in the series. It's very apparent by the scoreline that they have been on the back foot. But I feel like at the Claymores arena right now, I don't think they'll be too down. I think they'll be smiling. I think they'll be having a bit of fun.
I think they've actually, you know, I feel like we keep coming back to this. Their SR average was substantially lower. They've got to know coming into this that their odds were slim, and they have put up such a good showing against a team of the Pirates' caliber. They should be genuinely very proud of themselves.
They didn't go down without a fight, that is definitely for sure. And the Pirates, as much as this isn't meta, I would say this may work if they play it right.
They also don't have to push it that far. They've got to get it just past the choke. You see Lukey Boy on the top. Jam on the Zarya. I feel like this is the Pirates just going, I haven't played this character in a while. Let's see how it goes. Lukey Boy is going to get chased down by Ram Ranch. Mortality field down. Lukey Boy playing these off angles. Pops the overload, decides to go toe-to-toe with the enemy. Zarya will get the kill. Jupiter goes down. Lukey Boy's got the turret up and ready to go. Closing the distance. Gets the kill with the turret onto Dom. Kills looking to be in favour of the Claymores right now. Res comes out from Dapper. Brings I don't want to be you back into the fight. just throw those mines in. It's 130 damage on a direct hit from one of those, just in case anybody was unfamiliar with the numbers.
Just in case anyone was not aware of how much damage Junkrat can put down with those grenades. And it felt, even though the kills were in the favor of the Claymores, the spawns were in favor of the Pirates, and it just caught up to them.
They can just keep chunking those gears, driving their way forward. Lukey Boy with the Molten Core might not even need it at this point. Not many Claymores left on the field. Out comes the Molten Core. Oh, right into the May wall. What a beautiful wall out from Waterboy. It's not going to be enough to stem the tide, but as reflexes go, that was pretty great.
Oh, no.
He didn't get it. He didn't get it.
My heart sunk. My heart sunk because I thought he got the hammer kill there, but no. The Molten Core baited us all. We didn't get the hammer kill we all wanted.
That's I do feel like we need to go and talk to our producers and say, can we please get a hammer kill count for the season? Every time there is one, let's press the button, get that up on screen.
Yeah, we need to start to get one for last season as well, just because there was a lot.
There were a lot of hammer kills. There we go. Look at this. Look at the finesse, the skill, the tracking on the Tor bolts. Just superior DPS play there from Lukey Boy.
Yeah, playing out of his mind throughout the series though. Like, in all seriousness, on that May, he just seemed unstoppable. He seemed in control of the game, and that's what you want from your May player. You want them to be in control of the tempo, controlling how the team is playing. Those walls, a lot of the time, are your engages, or at the very least, your disengages if you don't use it to actually engage. And that's what you want from your May player. You need the enemy frozen up. You need the walls to split them. Fantastic play from him. Fantastic play from all of the Pirates. We gave the Claymores a lot of credit, but the Pirates did still look very dominant throughout.
They did. And just to come back to Lukey Boy one more time, if we were looking at a list of top 3 flex DPS from last season, Lukey Boy was frequently in that conversation alongside Quantum, alongside Chico. Definitely a player to watch.
Yeah. Throughout the season, we had 3 names in our mind, and it was those 3 players. Because they're going back to the old meta, the FARs from those 3 were
very strong. Yeah, and if that's a sign of the things to come with the level of May play we can expect from these guys, I'm looking forward to the remainder of the season. However, having checked with my producer, this is definitely the last map this time, so we are ready to round out the show. Now, I hope you've enjoyed watching these matches as much as we have had bringing them to you, and if you've been watching this for the first time and thinking, hey, that looked like a lot of fun. I'd love to play in some organised team environments. Getting involved couldn't be simpler. Hop onto your social media platform of choice and have a look for the Belong Esports, Belong Arena Clash tags on Twitter, and just find out where your nearest arena is. Come down, get involved with the community, come along and play, and who knows, maybe you could be being cast sometime in the next season. But for myself and from Yokai and from all the production team here, that's all we've got for today, but I hope we'll see you next week for more Arena Clash action.